So,
Whitney.
just to be clear, last time on the Imperial Mandate, you all had met with the former Sorcerer King, Leowyn, and had discussed ideas of allies to get your hands on. As a result, most of you went out in order to recruit 3 specific groups: the Vesperdon of the Leshu Hive, the Circle of Shepherds Druids, and the Circle of the Dreams Druids. You succeeded in all 3 of these tasks and are currently on your way back to town. However, at the same time, you guys weren't the only ones. While you guys went on ahead, some people had to stay behind to look after the town in their own ways. Those 2 people being Ellison and Andraste. Now, Andraste, Ellison, what are you 2 up to?
You want to go first, Andraste, or no?
Digi.
Oh? Yes.
What are Andraste and Ellison doing in town?
Well, apparently Andraste has been helping out with the construction to the point of her gaining +1 strength, and overall leveling up her carrying capacity to another size.
And you weren't the only one in your family doing that, as also, where are the names at? Your older brother and sister Andy and Cora were helping you.
Yeah.
I assume the 3 of you getting along thick as thieves as you're hauling along cargo and the like. And on the other end of things, what's going on in the bakery?
I'm working.
How's working going?
I am also doing that.
Nope. Actually, Whitney,
yeah, you're right.
You're on your way back.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
So I'm. Is Tate also there with me or no?
Tate is with Whitney.
There. Huh?
Tate is with Whitney.
With me.
So wait. Hey Whitney, who would have been in charge of the shop? Would I have a superior there, or would I be the one in charge at the moment?
Well, I mean, Tate's not with you.
So someone else will be in charge.
Okay.
I think, because she's a new worker, she only started.
She's still new, yeah. I'd leave another employee in charge.
I know exactly.
Okay, yeah.
Your current superior is a tabaxi.
Baby.
Named Bread.
Bread!
He has a full name, but everybody just calls him Bread.
I want to know wait, what's his full name?
His full name is Dough That Turns to Bread.
Dough That Turns to Bread.
I like that.
I love him. He's Bailey.
He was in a family of bakers, and he followed you around after your first bakery landed.
Can I have
what kind of
special
tabaxi
nickname?
is he? What kind of tabaxi is he?
He's a tiger-looking tabaxi.
A what?
Tiger-looking tabaxi.
Oh, a tiger boy. Yes.
Can I have a nickname for the tabaxi?
What are you gonna name him?
Can I call him Dough? Would he be okay with that or no?
I mean, his common name is Bread, but yeah, you can call him Dough.
Would he be okay with that,
He's
though?
adorable.
He'd be fine with it. He's used to everything.
Yay! So me and Dough are hanging out and working and serving people and shit.
You earned 19 gold from today's work, by the way.
Lit. I'm gonna write that down.
Same with you. Same with you. In fact, Andraste, as people decided to pay you for your service today. You're starting to get back into paying the workers again. Do not even. Do not even. Do not even.
Yeah.
Look, I like B-stars as much as the next guy, but no.
Okay, he doesn't look exactly like Bill, but that was what I thought of.
But as you were going about your work, and it reaches 5 p.m. Oh my god! And it reaches literally everyone in the shop.
I love him. He's baby. Yay!
As it reaches 5 p.m., everyone starts reaching the town, and you guys start seeing more people coming in. Like, for example, a whole swarm of animals starts swarming through the town as they were brought by the shepherd's druids. And Droste, you were the first to see Vespidon coming in towards the coming in from the outskirts. Some of them waving at you with a friendly look, which is surprising considering how most Vespidon treat Hive Broken.
So, seeing them, I let them know, do a slight smile, and I'll just let them know of my presence.
Andy kind of like looks at them and says, didn't think Vespidon would be showing up today. I guess your friends were able to get one of the hives to join us." He's kind of like holding like a big box over his head. Gonna go say hi? He puts it down. Droste.
Yes.
Your brother Andy asked if you're gonna go say hi to them as he puts a heavy box down that was on top of him.
Oh, I guess, yeah. They're not really of my head. They don't look like they were of my height, so, but yeah, I guess since I guess the invitation was successful. Yeah. But yeah, I walk after them.
One of the Vespidon notices you walking over and then walks over and says, "Well, didn't think there'd be another one of us over here. Name's Vex. Nice to meet you." She holds out her hand. She's a Vespidon.
Oh, yeah.
You can tell that she's a worker like you, but she has fiery red hair and the usual golden eyes and everything.
Yeah, same as me. Sure. Yeah, so I come up to her and give her the greeting gesture.
What's your name?
It's Andraste.
What have you from?
I'm from my hive has actually been destroyed, and
Sorry to hear that, but I'm sure you got family, don't you?
Yes, I'm actually in part of the Deep House family, the halflings that keep the general good star in this town.
Ah, nice. Gonna have to visit there eventually to help see what I can help doing with supplies and stuff. So hopefully I'll see you over there. She kind of like nudges your shoulder with like a fist. Hopefully we get to work well together. She pats you on the shoulder and then says, "All right, boys, let's get to work."
Yeah, let's go for it. Let's go for it. Nice to see a friendly Vespidon face around here.
Yeah, well, we're always friendly, no matter who we're dealing with. Vex says with a smile before all these Vespidons start joining up in the work effort.
Yeah, and well, Andraste leads the charge as the strongest person in this village.
Awesome. And as that as I said before, as that's going on, everyone is slowly getting back to town at 5 p.m. with animals coming in, with the circle shepherds arriving. You see a couple of druids coming in from portals as well, as you realize that these are, as a circle of dreams arrives. Basically, everyone's slowly making their way back into town at this point. Making their way back into town currently, and I assume do you guys have a meeting point that you would all like to meet at, or?
Well, there is a big ass tree.
Yes, with the boys.
So you guys decide to meet at the big tree where the Leon is? I mean, where Leowyn is?
Would I be off work at this point and able to join?
Yes, both of yes. Thanks to the increased work effort from the other Vespidon, and thanks to generally just the day being done by about 6 o'clock, you guys are both done with your work. Both Ellison and Andraste.
Yeah. So we would go to a meeting point that is apparently a tree.
A giant tree
Same.
that was summoned by a mage, a druid to be specific.
I guess long story from the last session.
Just it's a home for the former Sorcerer King and his students.
Ah, okay.
You guys all meet up there. Lyrian, Nerul, and Thrin are already there as a kind of like waiver with the groups that they were with, and they say, and Thrin kind of looks at you all and says, "So, how'd your meetings go?"
Gabe, do you want to describe ours, or do you want to do that neutrally?
Well,
Because I feel like you did most of the heavy lifting in terms of negotiation, but
well, you helped with that last bit.
yeah, I had a
but
bit off with some men.
I guess to say it briefly, we got the Circle of Dreams. Who's echoing?
That would be Jules or Rose.
That is
But yeah, we got the Circle of Dreams on our side. They will assist in healing and also soothing the people of this village, along with like boosting the morale of those who are fighting. But they won't fight against the goblins.
You see Lyrian look at Thrin, and how is Veslia doing these days? Fine, he says, looking away. Saracen, how do you think our meeting with the shepherds went?
I think it went rather well, thank you.
Whitney, would you say the same?
It's raining, what?
Whitney?
Am I here?
Yeah.
Oh, what are we talking about?
Lyrian asked, how do you think our meeting with the Circle of Shepherds went?
I think it went fine. We got Bruno. I'm still on with Bruno.
Yeah, that's when you guys realize that Whitney is on top of an owl bear that just seems to be kind of like just laying on the ground at this current moment.
I love him.
Yes, we have Bruno.
I wander over, just wandering over, like, what's the word? Just like in the back of everyone, and I start petting the owl bear.
Dion, as you approach the elbow, you see Ellison just patting it while Whitney is just on top of it.
I will also place my hand upon its head.
It doesn't seem to react much, just accepting that as Leon kind of chuckles. And how was an Aldwin, Terrence? How was the Leshu Hive and Ragus?
Well, first off, we popped out on a portion of trail that the Vespid, the hive we talked to weren't expecting us to come from. So they kind of had arrows out for us.
I see no one got any in them, unless suddenly something happened that I didn't know about. Unless you healed yourselves up anyway.
When I saw Terrence kind of blank out a little bit, I just short answer, we just simply walked in and with the help of Ragus providing the cream of the crop of some of his potions, The what's their name again? Let me check.
NBC acquaintances and allies.
The Leicester Hive.
Queen
Isn't-
Queen Lavisar.
Yes, indeed.
Ah,
Who was a giantess, might I add.
yep. Oh yes, I remember. I met her mother back in the younger years. If you
Her mother.
would you believe me if I said that her mother was even larger?
I can believe that.
Yes, Vespidon queens grow to be quite large for some reason. I have no clue how.
Now we have her and her hive on our side after making basically a trade deal.
Wonderful, wonderful. Andraste, Ellison, we haven't met before. I'm Leowyn Nera, pleasure to meet you. How has the village been, actually?
Well, I've been helping out with the construction and overall transportation of goods, and yeah.
Ah, wonderful, wonderful. I'm glad to hear that construction's going along well. And how is the bakery here? After all, these two love the sweets there. They love to not save any for me. He glances at Naval and Thven, who just rub the back of their necks. And then he glances at you, Ellison.
I kind of chuckle a bit and I say business has been pretty regular. Actually, and from my back, how much would it be to have bought like 4 or 5 baked goods to have brought to the meeting?
Roxy?
Because I knew I was going to be meeting new people.
It depends on what you brought. It could just be like a few silver pieces.
What can I get for like 3 gold?
Some cookies.
How many?
Like 5? 6?
Perfect. So I will use 3 gold and buy cookies and kind of hand Lyrian the bag and say, these are for you guys since I'm meeting you. Enjoy.
He takes it. Thank you so much. I'll be sure to keep this in a place to where it'll be safe. One time. And then Lyrian smiles. I'm glad to hear that. After all, I'd like to make sure this village stays safe. And that's when you hear a feminine voice pop out and say, I'm surprised that you're glad that anywhere's staying safe at this point, Lyrian. And then you see Lyrian kind of like tense up for a moment. Actually, no. You see him tense up, and then you see him like at this 1,000-yard stare as his head like snaps up for a moment, snaps up at where the voice came from, which is directly behind you guys.
Wait, who said that thing?
If you look behind you, you guys see a bluish gray moon elf standing with a staff in hand, blue robes garbed over her, and silver eyes as she's kind of like staring at Lyrian. Come now. You can speak, Lyrian. Sure, come on. Leah, I didn't know you'd be in town. I had to pop in to check on these rumors that I heard. And then she kind of like puts her staff in front of her and kind of like, and then kind of like holds on and kind of like and you see it get shorter and become a cane in a way. And she kind of like leans forward on it. I heard that you'd slipped out of your cage, and I had to see for myself. Yes. And you see that at this point, just by your passive insight, you can tell that Lyrian is just afraid right now. Or rather, he's just very, like, skittish in the presence of this woman.
I move from the owlbear and gently place a hand on his shoulder to assure him that he'll be okay.
I narrow my eyes and kind of glance over to Lyrian. Should we be concerned?
No, nothing to be concerned about.
So who was that again?
Where are my manners? My name. Where are my manners? My name is Leah Galonadel. I am the apprentice of the. I am the apprentice and daughter of Serial Galonadel, leader of the Eastern Mage Conclave, and she stares at Leowyn, resident mage hunter, as it were.
Whoop.
Can I roll a history check to see if I know that was the one who defeated the Sorcerer King?
Roll history.
Okay.
If anyone else would like to roll
I mean,
history.
would I just know?
Well, yes, actually, because her name basically became famous after she took down Leowyn. In fact, and judging by Lyrion's attitude, seriously, you can tell that she was the one that led the personal torture on him.
Oh, great.
Thank you.
I see you two have already met each other.
Yes, isn't that right? And then she says a name, but none of you can hear her say it, and Leowyn just doesn't respond. Oh, wait, that's right. You're going by Leowyn these days. I'm sorry, I forgot.
Enough name calling. Why are you here again?
I'm here. Well, I heard that the mages would be helping in the defense of this town, and I wanted to make sure they do exactly that. And then after our services are no longer needed, she then looks directly at Leowyn and then says, "I'll be making sure that someone goes back in the cage that I had put them in. The rather nice cage at that. Isn't that right?"
I'm sensing some Stockholm Syndrome vibes from this chick.
Well, that will all depend on how they help the host, defeating the goblin host, alright? No need for hostilities right now.
Oh no, there will be no hostilities. Don't worry about that at all. I'm just checking in on an old friend.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see you well, Leowyn. I would hope that enchantment I put on you didn't fade already. I've seen that it's been keeping you well. Yes. Wonderful, wonderful. She then smiles.
Well, it's nice to meet you, Leah.
Pleasure.
Do you have any... Oh, yeah, go on.
She's gonna say pleasure to meet you as well.
Nice to meet you.
Unfortunately, we will save cages and the like for another day. Do you have any ideas as to defeat our goblin host?
Well, from what I've heard, that you've got plenty of ideas, as it were. I'll be sure to add my own at the next meeting. Actually, also you might want to speak around town. From what I heard, there are quite a few people who have some ideas for how you could help the town in general. And then she smiles and says, "But I'd best leave that to you all. After all, you do have a village to save. It was a pleasure to meet you all." She gives a slight bow as her cane turns back into a staff, and she says, "I'll be seeing you again, Leowyn." Yes. And then she leaves, just humming to herself. Before as she's finally gone, Leowyn just takes a breath as he's finally able to breathe.
Rough day?
And you could say that.
Everything all right, good sir?
Do you mind if the two of us could speak a little bit in private? I wish to discuss some things with you.
That would work for me. But, is there anything else that anyone wants to say? Nero cuts in and says, "Future me showed back up again." Did he say anything? You know the usual. I'm going to become him. Yada yada yada. The future is set in stone. Yeah.
He did talk shit.
Leowyn hands Andraste the cookie.
The cookie.
And Nero kind of like shrugs. Yeah, he usually does that. Anyway, I'll be going to the dock. What? I'm assuming to take in the sights? Yes, let's go with that, Newell says as he walks off. Call me if you need me.
I kind of glance after him, curious as to what he's doing by the docks. But I don't follow or anything yet. Just kind of look after him, watch him walk away.
Thrin then says, "Well, I best bring Bruno to a place where he can sleep for the night. Come now, Bruno." Bruno kind of like gets up, and kind of like Whitney, you fall off when he goes at startling. He kind of like nudges you with his head before he kind of like walks over to Thrin.
Oh, it's okay.
Ooh.
And then Thrin takes Bruno and walks off.
Kind of wanting to talk to Leowyn more. I walk up to him and I reintroduce myself. Hi, I'm Ellison. I just wanted to have a better chance to talk to you and introduce myself.
Oh, wonderful. But I have to speak to Searson for a moment, it seems. Also, you all can assume that our meeting for now is over, or does anyone else have anything they'd like to discuss?
I would like to discuss going off of the parting words of the wise individual that pointed out that many of the townsfolk had good ideas on how to improve both our defenses and infrastructure. So I think it would be worth going around town and asking if people had useful input.
Yeah. A good start would be Darrow, I think. He looks between Aldwin and Dion as he says this.
Sounds like a job for Aldwin and Dion.
I think it could be.
Also, Aldwin will speak up. He's probably been eating on some of the snacks I were brought
Joking.
all this time.
Crumbs all over his face.
Yeah, that's about the truth. He'll say, before I hit a sugar-induced high, and thus partially forget the next 30 minutes or so, I would like to kick out this to Dion and technically to everyone else. How about a town hall?
Town hall meeting sounds good.
I am in full support of this idea. I think it's a good plan.
Yeah.
That sounds wonderful.
Basically, me, Dion, and anyone else who wishes to come can basically. The short answer is just open mic night for the villagers, and they can air their grievances or try to give us ideas.
Just make sure that Leowyn, you kind of like trying to think for a moment, that Leowyn is able to call a meeting himself. It would look good that there's a unified front here. Especially with the factions that we have currently building in our midst.
He's going to be at the center of the table, so to speak.
Less of a table and more of a mob.
Give me a second.
We can find a way to organize the event in such a way that everyone gets a chance to speak to at least one representative of the Defense Council. That way no one misses out on the opportunity to save a life with a good idea.
I'd recommend having it around the...
They don't have much time? Would that mean, like, everyone has, like, not very much time?
To speak?
Yeah.
That is a possibility, Terrence.
We could simply just host a running meeting.
Yes, you could do what you did beforehand, where it was at the altar. That is the center of town, as it were. Everyone before keeping people before the sight of the gods does happen to loosen their tongues a bit, or keep them from doing stupid things.
We can also go around and ask people to write in their thoughts if they're unable to come in person.
What if we just had a suggestion box and then a weekly meeting to discuss and have votes on it?
Sounds like a good combination of both ideas. I like that.
Yes, as do I. Excuse me for a moment. He kind of like walks over to Searson and asks, "You wanted that talk, correct?"
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yes, I do. I'd like to propose something to you.
Yes.
She will then propose the idea I talked to you about in DMs as of our last game.
He kind of looks at you for a moment.
Secret plan?
He kind of looks at you for a moment with a bit of a weird look, and then he thinks, that's never a thought that occurred to me. A is the first thing he says to you, with a bit of a smile on his face.
She smiles back. That's a lovely start, I suppose. Lastly, this Leah girl.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by a cage?
He then refers to his tattoos that are all over his body. For one, she put this on me, for instance, and then second, I could choose any place I wanted to be as long as it was a gilded cage in a way, and I chose that cottage that Ragus found me at. She and her mages have been keeping an eye on me. As the daughter of the leader of the Eastern Mage Conclave, she is in charge of hunting down renegade mages and the like, and interrogating them if need be, interrogation, execution, or punishment if need be. Her punishment for me was emotions to himself again.
A punishment. But, since the Sorcerer King, as if we know him, is dead, why don't we just have you stay here after this is over?
That'd be a wonderful idea, considering all the work that's been put into this tree. I just hope that you're able to hopefully, if you want to, though, for that idea to work, he thinks for a moment, you'd have to get some of the senior mages on your side so they can go against Leah. If enough of the 10 vote to keep me here, then she has to abide by it, since the mages guilds since the conclave still are ruled by committee. If her mother finds out that I'm here, well, her mother always liked me, so.
If I were to get this to change, would you give me something in return?
He then looks at you. What would you ask?
I'll keep that a secret for now, to save time.
He nods. All right, then.
What would you be able to give me, per se?
Knowledge. Knowledge. I could train you in any tool or art that you desire. Teach. If you want combat training, I could do that as well. Anything besides that, I've really lost the ability. Anything physical, anything that doesn't rely on magic, I could pretty much do for you, from what it seems. Although there are a couple of things that the Mages Guilds don't know about that I could teach.
I would be very interested in learning some magical techniques for growing, healing.
He nods, and then he looks at Searson, and he kind of like tugs at his necklace. And Searson, you're the only one to see this, but you see a glowing crystal around his neck. There are some things that they don't know about.
Well, let it be our little secret. I do believe Ellison has wanted to.
Oh, come on.
To
I cut out there. You said Ellison wanted to talk to me as well?
Yes, so it's best not to belay the time. I will take my leave for now. It's best.
All right, then. He kind of looks amongst you all. Well, if anyone would like to talk to Darrow about that plan for a meeting hall, that'd be a good idea. But other than that, if anyone has any further business with me, I'll be in my home, of course. I assume that we'll discuss the next allies we'll be dealing with tomorrow.
Sounds fair.
Does that work for everybody?
Sounds fair to me.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a plan
Yes.
to me.
Yes.
Works
Yes.
for me.
Why you make fun of my voice?
Terrence?
Are you mocking me?
And Terrence, Andraste, does that plan work for you? Meeting tomorrow and speaking about what allies to search for next?
Yes, I think that's a fairly sound plan.
Alright then. Ellison, if you'd like to follow Ellison, if you'd like to meet me inside. For the rest of you, have a good afternoon. He gives a deep bow before he walks into his large treehouse home.
I follow after him.
What do all of you do?
I would like to work on setting up the town hall meeting.
Right, for that you're gonna have to go meet with Darrow, who's probably at his home actually at this moment.
Gotcha. I would extend the invitation to anyone that may wish to come.
All right.
Anyone else gonna meet with Leowyn? Oh, what was that, Andraste?
Yeah, and if anything at the requires some physical placements, then I would be of help, especially if it's something related to the town hall and the meeting. If something needs to be placed there, I'll be there to have it be placed.
All right. So, just to be clear, who is going to meet with Leowyn?
I know that I am.
Alden will tag along.
Just like a butter
Sure.
or something.
What was that, Terrence?
Dragus is going to follow whatever Terrence is doing, so.
Oh my god. What are we going to talk about with Leowyn?
Well, you could talk to him about what people want, but you could also set up the idea of there being a town meeting.
Uh-huh.
Why not both?
I could come.
You said you will come, or?
Yes, I will.
Alright then. Alright, and Whitney, what will you be up to?
What were the choices?
Well, it's whatever right now. Some of the people are heading over to meet with Leowyn to discuss making a town meeting and what people are looking for, what certain people want in town. But you could always head home and rest if you wanted to.
Sleep is for the weak.
I mean, Susan is going to deal with the senior mages.
I do not think I am weak. I must prove myself strong. I will come with them.
Everyone's a tank in this group.
Heading with Circe or heading with the Leowyn party? Or heading with the Darrow?
Susan.
Alright then. Hey, we got a charismatic person with you.
Hooray! I wish I was charismatic.
Well, you're still gal pal.
Constitution check.
On my good days, I'm not like immediately annoying.
But with that, I'll start with Ellison first, actually.
Hi.
Alright.
Hi.
Ellison, you were greeted to a rather large interior to the tree, as it is hollowed out from what it looks like, and has a spiral staircase heading up and breaking off into branches that head off to other branches that have been made into hallways. Lyrian does gesture over to a dining table that's nearby.
Where does he sit or stand?
He sits at the table, actually. He kind of sits at the head of it, since that was the closest seat to him.
So I'll wander over and I'll sit near him at the table.
All right. So you wish to speak to me?
Yes. Real quick. What are Nerul and Theron to him again? What's the word that you use?
Students.
Student. Of course. It's a simple word.
Good job.
I will fight you in a friendly way, but I will fight you. So I know that you have several students under you, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I say that.
Yeah, he says, mm-hmm. Each unique in their own way, a fey druid and a shade, as it were.
Well, I am personally a aberrant sorcerer, and I'm still learning to use my powers. I guess I was kind of wondering if there would be any way to maybe get some lessons or become a student of yours as well.
Oh, you've come to the right place, funnily enough, since I used to be a bit of a sorcerer myself.
Oh?
Yeah. Yes.
The king.
Yes, I was primarily a wizard, but due to my exposure to the Feywild, I had awakened that my soul had become attuned to the art of psionics. Actually, a bit of an offshoot of psionics, like the aberrant mind is.
Ah, that's intriguing.
Yes, though.
No, continue.
Though my style of magic differed slightly, I learned about the other psionic sorcerers that existed out there as a way to better harness my own power. Aberrant mind, I do know a bit about them.
Lovely. Would you be willing to possibly teach me sometime?
I'd be willing to, yes. In fact, you might be able to learn more than you think you can, as it were. After all, despite being druids and a shade, both of them have picked up on arts that I didn't expect them to.
Intriguing.
Yes. Though I will admit that Thrin and Nerul do have a bit of a competition between them when it comes to who's the better student, so best be prepared for that.
Lovely. Well, is there anything that I should know becoming your student or about them that could be good to know?
Nerul is closed off somewhat. It takes a while for him to get used to people. Thrin is as sociable as can be. He loves your sweets, both of them anyway, so be sure to bring those in case you want to endear yourself to them, I suppose.
Okay.
Besides that, Nerul does have a habit of popping in and out of shadows here and there, so be prepared for that. He knows the meaning of privacy, though, so he's not willing to peek on people or spy on them. Thrin, there's not much to talk about. He's more of a quiet person. He does talk a lot to his people he does have an affinity for. He does seem quiet sometimes.
Was that Nerul, the last part that you were talking about, or Theron?
That was Thrin.
Okay. Or Thrin, sorry. Okay. Well, I appreciate all of this, and I look forward to our lessons.
Wonderful, wonderful. As do I. He kind of fixes his sleeves. Was there anything else you'd like to discuss, or?
Well, I mostly just wanted to ask you about that and really introduce myself some more.
Ah, all right then. Well.
Can he tell that I'm a Dhampir at all?
Nope, he cannot.
Okay.
Still.
Yeah, I don't mention anything about that.
I mean, he really doesn't have access to magic thanks to the tattoos that are muting his actual color.
Right. Okay.
Anyway, I suppose you'll be off to do.
Like gold.
Yeah, he's supposed to be gold in color, but the tattoos, because they siphon away his magic, it also just turns him slightly mute in color-wise.
Oh,
interesting.
Like dim gold, right?
Yeah. Or depressed gold, technically.
Oof.
Mood.
Anyway, he says, but yes, Thorn will no doubt be putting Bruno somewhere, so I have no clue where he'll be, but you know where Nerul is in case you wanted to introduce yourself to either of them.
Okay. I appreciate that. If there's ever anything that I can do for you, whether here or in the town, just let me know.
Right.
I'm in I live in the Eligard shop across the bridge, and I work in the bakery, as you know. So.
Ah, the Eligard shop. I've been there a couple of times. I messed with the chess game there, and actually, who I'm playing against is still a beginner from what it seems. He kind of scratches the back of his head.
I giggle a bit. Rainier, he's my older brother.
I don't know who it is. I pass by and the game's already been played, so I kind of just make a move of my own. And yes, it must be your other brother, Kaladin. He does need some work on his chess skills from what it looks like.
Maybe just a little bit.
Although I heard Aldwin does the same. It might be either of them. I could be playing against them both at the same time, which would look bad on their part, I think.
Yeah, it's very possible, honestly.
Anyway, I'd best go start preparing dinner for those two. As I said, it was wonderful meeting you.
It was wonderful meeting you as well.
Alright. You have a nice night, Ellison. He says he starts walking towards the kitchen, and there's a bit of humming coming from him.
I smile and wave to him, and I head towards the door and back towards, because he's kind of off to the side of town, right?
Yeah.
Not directly in town.
Yeah.
So I kind of start heading back towards kind of just general town for now.
All right. We're gonna save the other. Would you be willing to save the other part that I have planned, or?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Switching off. Let's do the mayor first, since they'd be getting to their destination first. Alright, so, my mayor group. You guys arrive at the, at Daryl's house, and it is lit up as usual, showing that he's in.
I would suggest that we knock on the and let him know what we would like to discuss.
Who would like to lead the discussion?
Who has the highest charisma score?
Terrence!
I can propose the idea, but in terms of convincing him to do it, that may need to be a
Really?
third party.
The highest charisma here?
Yes, you do. You're the bard.
Give me a second, I'll be right back.
Bruh.
Yeah, probably Terrence should,
Why did I pick bard again?
So you can buff everyone?
What exactly do we want to tell him?
That we'd like to hold a town hall meeting and perhaps set up a Dropbox location.
or he is.
Correct, for the improvement of both the defense and infrastructure of the town.
What was that, Terrence?
And you want me to tell to him, right?
If you want to.
Sure, I could do that.
Alright.
We're waiting for Sam, right?
I have returned. What'd I miss?
Nothing much.
Alright, so who's leading?
I guess I'm gonna leave.
Alright. Terrence, you knock on the door, and you hear, "It's open!"
Okay, so like I gently open the door and I like come inside. I'm hearing echoes.
I don't hear any echoes. I just hear stepping. But unless it's me anyway. But you walk in, all of you, and that's when you hear, he's just kind of low, Allison, you'll have to turn him up. Anyway, you walk in and you smell this delicious food that's coming from the upper floor.
Thanks, Brooke.
Oh. Wait, what room is this exactly?
What time is it?
In the game?
Trevor, you mind just muting yourself real quick?
Yeah. One sec.
Thank you. Alright, what were you saying?
So, what exactly is the place we're in?
you're in the mayor's treehouse. At the bottom, you see this nice like entrance area and a spiral staircase around the outside that leads up towards the second floor where the smell is coming from.
Alright. And Leowyn is...
I can hear you.
Same.
I cut out there. Sorry, that was me. What happened?
Alright. So, where are we in Leowyn's office or whatever he has or something?
You're in the entrance to his home, the foyer area. Heading upstairs will probably take you to his actual home and where his office will be, no doubt.
Alright.
Heading up the stairs, you do see you see Darrow kind of like eating, and you see Kritigar eating as well as the bugbear that you had, Grimbosh, the bugbear that you were convinced to join your side as well, just eating at a table. Oh, you're at the back. Oh. He kind of like swallows his food stands. How were your missions?
Wait, who said that?
Darrow Leowyn.
Mind if I respond, Norm?
Yeah, please.
They all went well. New alliances were made, and a couple deals needed to be struck, but we're slowly getting more and more aid for the coming fight.
Good. And I'm assuming I'm gonna have to meet with a few people to.
Gonna need it.
I'm assuming that there's gonna be a couple people that I have to speak to finish up some deals for, since I'm the chief.
Technically yes and no. I know on you'll have to check with each person individually to get the exact details.
All right.
But for the most part, it's verbal agreements right now. Nothing really set in stone.
Well, you know us elves. Verbal agreements are as good as actual paper contracts.
But we actually wanted to come and talk with you.
Well, I see about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5+ people that have come to speak to me. So yeah, that sounds about right. So what can I do you for? Actually, well, he then motions to his office. Actually. Before he walks into his office and kind of like leaves his door open for you guys.
Wait, because my connection's bad. Are we in his office now?
Yeah, I would assume that you guys all enter his office, which is kind of like, unlike the rest of his house, this one has more holes in holes in the chamber area because it's meant to have a cross breeze to let wind flow through. As he sits down at his desk, and there's enough chair, and there's some chairs for you guys to sit in, or you can stand if you want.
Wait, so how many are we?
There's Terrence, Aldwin, Dion. Who else came along? I think Andraste came along, and I think Kaladin did too, and Ragus did as well. So that's about 6 people.
A few.
Yeah, 6 people to be precise.
Did I say I was here? I forgot.
Whitney went with Searson.
Yeah. Ragus.
So, what would you like to speak about?
Alright.
I cut out.
But also, okay, let's get to some more serious stuff. So we were talking about the situation we're in right now, and we think that it would be a good idea to first of all hold a meeting for the people so they can give us more ideas on how to better defend the settlement.
Mm-hmm.
And also maybe just have a place where they can leave their suggestions so we can handle them later.
That makes sense. Let's see. Well, suggestion box wise, that could potentially be at the local altar, since we just put a box there for it. Meeting wise, there's no really large enough area. I mean, the docks is available, of course. Sorry, technical difficulties. Give us a second, real quick.
Again.
Okay, I'm back.
Oh, jeez.
Jeez. What I miss exactly?
Where did you cut off?
I cut off at hearing Perry take a breath.
Okay, so basically, I replied and I'm like, well, it might not be so easy to organize this whole thing, but the dogs sound okay to me. Maybe someone has a better.
Well, I do know that Dion suggested using some dock ships, which could be potential if the sailors were amicable to it, though the amount of ships that are coming into the port in general has gone down since, an entire fleet of them was lost.
Yeah. But yes, basically the point is that the people of the town can be more involved in the things happening.
That makes sense. After all, I've already gotten several suggestions. He makes the quoting, he makes the air quotes about what to do for the town, and with those Vespidons here and them giving us more aid in building, those suggestions will only get louder.
Oh, I see.
Okay, Cookie joins the chat.
Oh, welcome, Cookie.
Late response.
Hi, Cookie.
Hi.
Sorry about that. I was
Hello.
looking down at my phone, waiting for someone to say something for a moment because I thought someone else would have.
And I was talking to Car. I'm sorry.
Not late, but now late.
Yeah, we were talking about very important matters.
Oh my goodness. Tate, I'm going to say that Tate went along with Searson and Whitney for what they're planning on doing, which we will get to.
Might I kick something out for the town meeting? Maybe for the time being, let's have it at the shrine.
That works.
True. Put us all in the place of the gods and the like.
Wait, what are we doing?
Some of the people are meeting with the mayor. Meanwhile, Whitney, Tate, and Searson went off to go talk to some senior mages because Searson has a plan for something. And Ellison is currently met with Leowyn and went off for the night.
I didn't know the mayor. I mean, why are they talking to the mayor?
They're suggesting they're suggesting of having town meetings from now on, and also they want to know what everyone in town's talking about.
Okay.
Right. Then Leowyn's going to look at you all and say, "I assume you don't want to hear what they're saying, and you want to find out at the next meeting when people start asking."
That could work.
Trust me, people have had plenty to say thus far.
I don't doubt it.
Like what?
Let's see. The Scarves want a brewery and a place so that way they don't have to import their meat from anywhere. So they're asking that we build a brewery in the town. Leah.
That does sound like a good idea.
Leanne, that Asimir, and Pino, the two Asimir clerks that we have, they suggested building a local chapel or some place of religious significance. That way, people can offer their prayers and offer gifts to the gods in a place free from the elements. What else was there? Where did I keep that notebook at? There you are. Let's see. Oh yeah, and the elves, and not the elves, and the mages want a local library to be able to keep their notes in, since apparently they lost quite a few valuable notes since their time here. By the way, forgot to say this at the beginning of the session, but since you're all here, Leowyn has suffered one lore damage due to being within proximity of the Goblinoid town.
Great.
You are down to 2 lore now.
What's stab myself?
There's a passive ability by the town of Unegula thanks to the mage towers, I believe, that lets them cause 1 lore damage to every town within I think about 36 miles of them.
Wait, what's lore damage?
Leowyn, the village has a character sheet. Let me just grab that. Let me just grab that real quick. And basically, it has stats, and if one of those stats reaches 0, Leowyn will be conquered by the Goblinoids.
Yeah, so basically, if we take 2 more damage in lore, then we die.
We're just gonna be so dumb that the goblins conquer us.
What
Hold
does
on.
lore damage exactly mean?
Lore damage means that for example, information. It's mainly referring to information and the like. So mages notes, for example, Kaladin's ability to get access to his spies. Basically, anything that's based around knowledge will start taking damage as a result. Like Kaladin will have a harder time getting access to his spies, or you guys will have harder knowledge finding out what's going on in town or remembering stuff.
Damn it.
That messed up.
Then,
That's a good kick in the nuts.
But as a decree, you guys can repair your lore score. So keep that in mind.
Would it only repair 1, or would it repair it entirely?
Repair it entirely.
Okay.
But
might I kick something out?
Yeah.
Well, time to get to building some academies.
Is there certain buildings or
Certain buildings that
that protect the town's certain abilities or things?
You're asking that out of character? I'm guessing based off how it sounds.
Yeah, because it'll lead into what Alduin's probably going to kick out then.
Where's that? Oh, I'm sorry. First of all, I'm sorry. It wasn't 36 miles. It was 12 miles.
Go away.
But in terms of that, from what I can find so far, there doesn't seem to be anything. So the thing that's causing it is the town's bookbinder shop, funnily enough. But in terms of like anything that blocks against that, currently it doesn't look like it.
Alright then. Just curious.
I'll keep looking, but from right now, it just seems like no.
Oh.
Oh, and last but not least, we have a whole crowd of people coming in now, to the point where we're no longer a village at this point. We're now officially a town, so congratulations, guys. Welcome to the town of Leowyn.
Hey. And I've been calling it a town all this time. So... Yeah.
It's good.
Sure. Yeah.
Right all along.
It's a town.
It's a town.
I was gonna do. I was actually gonna do fucking song from Beauty and the Beast.
But yeah.
Oh,
yeah. It's a quiet village, demonetized.
Please don't demonetize me. Anyway, but besides that, the library is gonna be a problem though, because for that we're gonna need a school and a bookbinder's shop. So, yeah, that's not gonna be fun.
Good.
Oh wait. Okay, Perry. Actually, you know your question?
I think are we looking at the same exact answer?
School, literacy, lore damage that the settlement suffers is reduced by 1.
Yep.
Yeah, I found it. So you'll have to build. So from what it looks like, you'll have to build a school for. So if you guys want the library, you're gonna have to build a school, a bookbinder shop, and then you'll be able to get the library finally.
So we should probably get the school so we can get that damage reduced to 0.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then. Well, Alden will say this. Not to discredit what the citizens want, but as much as I would like a brewery to drink mead, as much as I want, we need to prioritize something like a school to help reduce both reduce our problem, reduce the effects of the other towns, but also generally prioritize buildings that can protect us.
Land go up.
Yeah, that's understandable. Plus, the brewery will bring in commerce later, but we can always come back to that. For now, we'll have to stick to water and the like. Other than that, what else is there? There's a chapel. Oh yes, the local medic that arrived with the Swords of Justice, Onyx, the fellow who wears the plague doctor's mask. He asked that some supplies were gotten for him. Particularly, he wants Enkeg, acid extract, and giant wasp honey. Apparently, he can make something to patch up the injuries of the refugees. So there's that.
Well, I know that from at least my experience at my high, that Vespertans we host giant wasps as myself, and enchant piece as well. So that could be something to invest into.
True. And then finally, that's it for the most part. Currently at this point, I think Onyx is swamped with refugees that are pouring in. It might be best to meet with him tomorrow when he has a break, if he has a break. That guy is great with healing, but the guy's great with healing somehow, and he's not a cleric or an alchemist. I don't know what he is. He looks like a monk, but the way he acts doesn't seem like it. Anyway, anything else to discuss besides that?
No.
Alright. Well, I'm gonna finish having dinner with 2 guests. He motions to the bugbear and hobgoblin. But, you guys, stay safe.
Does the does the bugbear wave at Terrence?
Yeah, he does. Like he says, honeyed words, man, or rabbit.
Wait, what did he say?
He said honeyed words, rabbit, because you persuaded him.
Honeyed words, rabbit.
Oh, honey! Oh my god.
Oh.
Fuck! I don't know what answer. I can replay that.
He said a.
Jesus.
Give me a second.
I'll wave at him.
Why is it? I heard you wave at him. I assume.
What just happened?
I heard you waved at him. Is that all you did, or?
Yes, with a grin.
He says, "Ah!" He kind of raises a toast to you, and then
huge dumbass grin.
He kind of raises a goblet to you, and then downs the entire tankard of whatever drink he has.
Oh god.
But
so what are you having?
The elf calls it turkey. He says he has by the way, when he means turkey, he means that Grimbosh by himself got a giant thing of turkey all to himself. He ripped off one of the legs and just started eating it.
Turkey?
Not as good as Aarakocra, but it's a good second.
Having a good time with that.
I am. But it doesn't taste like Aarakocra, but this is a close second. Thank God no one in this party is Aarakocra.
Yeah.
Anyway. He just goes back to eating now at this point. Alright. By the way, just to let you all know, the first week isn't up, so your first season isn't done. However, thanks to the Vespidons, you do get 2 free buildings. However, you're going to have to debate that. 2 guys do get 2 free buildings thanks to the 20 Vespidon workers you got. So that's now you're up to 3 free buildings thanks to Andraste and the workers.
Hey.
You can pick those.
We're gonna have to debate what?
Debate what 2 buildings you want to build. Currently, that'll come at another time. We'll do that during the meet. We'll do that at the dawn of the next day because we have something else to do. We have 2 more things to do for the night. Would the mayor party like to do anything else currently?
Well, pretty much I just needed to receive the orders about what we are getting constructed and get to constructing.
All right. And Aldwin, Dion, Kaladin, I assume that was all you needed?
I guess so.
More or less.
All right. Is now canonical that Ticrios taste like chicken? Thank you.
No! No!
Last thing, but before you all go, Leowyn tells Kaladin to start to do him a favor and start having any spies that he has that he can get access to start looking for any wildfires that are going on nearby.
With pleasure.
But other than that, you guys disperse for the night. I'm going to switch to my group of my shepherd group: Tate, Whitney, and Searson.
Ladies squad, here we go.
Yes.
I say in the most manliest voice.
Tate's a man.
I'm about to say I'm a man.
Tate's a man.
Did you forget this? Did you forget this?
Well,
Also,
I mean,
dressed as a gal.
could include some men. There's an askertisk at it. Ladies squad askertisk may or may not include Tate.
Oh my goodness.
Thanks.
Oh,
No flying for you.
Oh
goodness.
no!
no kid.
Don't make my
It's
character
like
suffer because
guys
I'm making the
just use
mistake.
girls to-
Yeah, Searson's a pure child of light.
Sure.
Oh my goodness.
1080p.
She's more pure than Carr.
Oh my goodness. Oh. So you guys are walking. One of the major mages that you know that would have some say is actually someone that your party has run into several times already.
Oh, really? Let me take a wild guess. Does it happen to be the guy that Dion pissed off?
It is indeed Virno.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow, this is the
That's
first
not
time I
how I
actually
feel
get to
about
meet
this.
him.
He's currently hanging out at his shop right now, kind of like he looks like he's closing up for the night. He kind of looks at you all and says, "Oh, you." He notices that he recognizes Tate and Whitney. Do you need more magic items? Do you guys need more magical supplies or something?
I do not believe that's what we came for. What did we come for again?
Oh, you were muffled there, Cookie.
Yeah, you were super muffled.
What'd you say? I cut out.
Oh, Virno looked at you guys and was like, "Oh," he recognized Tate and Whitney, and he said, "Do you guys need more magic materials, or are you guys here for something else?" And then Whitney asked, "Wait, what are we here for again?"
I don't even know why we're here.
Okay, I'm glad we're on the same page.
Searson.
We are here to discuss with senior mages of the guild here plans to their current plans on dealing with the goblin host. Secondly, we are hoping to sway some of them to allow Leowyn, is that his name?
Lyrian, yeah.
Lyrian.
Yeah, Lyrian with us as one of our advisors after this battle is over, because they intend to take him back to the cottage.
Come on. There we go, I'm back. Okay. Really? Wait.
Yeah, well, for him to vote in favor of allowing Lyrian to stay in Leowyn under our residence and care.
Would he have a problem against Lyrian?
You could ask him.
You could ask. Let's start with that.
You don't have any problem with Lyrian.
With Lyrian? That's a new guy who... He points at the tree.
Yeah.
I still have a hard time believing that tree, yes. Is it real? Is it still real?
Yes, it's still real.
God damn. The tree's still real, guys.
So
Sorry.
we were wondering if you could vote in our favor to help us let him stay here?
You gotta like things about for a moment. I don't feel like pissing off. I don't feel like pissing off the guild, to be honest. Though that Leah chick isn't really helping that much since she popped up, already shoving her rules down my throat. From what it looks like, that doesn't seem that bad. He did visit here. He did visit here at one point. He kind of looks at you all.
This could be how you say payback.
You ain't wrong about that. She could do with some payback, though. She might be a good boss, but still, she's a bit of an ass.
Just give her a little taste of how
She may be the boss, but you could change the majority.
Yes.
He kind of looks at you for a moment, and he says, "I get all access rights to sell magic materials in Leowyn. Deal?"
Who says you didn't have that before?
Yes.
I want a guarantee, so that way none of the mages can hold it over my neck, because they might try and muscle in on my territory next.
Yeah, you got it.
Hey!
Just make sure you have profits.
Should we give him the Baker Promise, Tate?
The Baker Promise. The Baker Promise.
Sure.
I take some flour, I smear it on my palms, and I hold out my hand.
He smacks his hand right into yours and shakes it tightly. You have
And a puff of flour comes out.
You have yourself a deal.
Yes.
All right. I could probably get one or two of the other senior mages probably get a couple of the other senior mages on my side if you give me some time.
Okay.
I'll see what I can do. To be honest, as long as you guys keep the majority of mages here happy, I think you'll be able to sway. I think that'll help me sway the council. Other than that, I'll see what I can do. They won't be deciding until probably the end of the month anyway what to do with Leowyn, so you got yourself some time.
Okay.
Huh. Very well. And what about, what have you heard of the mage's current plans for the Goblin Host?
Let's see. Give me a second.
More specifically, how are they going to deal with the Dunamancer, Galen Merrick?
Yeah. See, the problem is that a lot of the mages are idiots and wouldn't talk to the one guy who knows about it to figure it out yet. From what I can tell, the main plan really is to work with. What it's really, the mages have been trying to figure out how they can work with the Scarves, since they need them to be the bulkhead or the front lines of the fight if they don't want to get utterly and completely slaughtered. But right now, I think some of the mages are favoring a full frontal assault if we can get enough forces on our side. Others are. I know that there's another portion that wants to go for doing a pincer attack with Baron Girth, even if it runs Girth into a trap. And a few people are considering the plan to trap the Goblin at Solarian, but they aren't sure about the undead that are there. They're still iffy about them.
What about no direct pincer attack at Galen?
With Girth or
with Girth? Yes.
That was an idea. If we were able to pull enough of the Goblinoid efforts, maybe a pincer attack would be favorable. He kind of thinks about it. I'm not much of a military strategist, but from what I remember of the war against the Sorcerer King, that was an idea. While he was off fighting against the humans out west, against the King of Liberation, from what I understand, the mages went after his capital and burned it to the ground. And then, with no home to return to, he was stuck. And then the mages went after him directly.
All right. I thank you for your wonderful insights here. One last question: Is there any way we can perhaps convince some of the goblins to fight these goblins?
Goblins are
stir up infighting if Galen Merrick were to, per se, be removed from the question.
If the host loses enough battles, even if Merrick's there, the goblinoids will probably fight amongst themselves as is. The only reason why is because they're afraid. The bugbear and goblin gods only unite together when the hobgoblin ones kick them in the shape. Same thing with the hobgoblins and the other two. If they start losing and there starts to be a question of if this is the proper way to go, they might fight amongst themselves in general. You could have desertion in the ranks even, or have the bugbears kill some of the bugbear tribes, kill the other two and run off.
I was hoping to get them looking towards a new enemy other than Hannock.
You might be able. The new enemy is going to be themselves if they go into infighting, and then they just kill themselves in that case. I just don't
Whatever expense. Oh yeah, go on.
It's not like how quiet it's been. Something's bugging me.
Yes, well, we're trying to scramble for a plan right now, and that gives them plenty of time to have a well-formed one.
True. I was wondering what the host is up to. They're still raiding, but there's gotta be something going on. Something bad,
something big.
Yeah. That's
why we need to have something big in return.
Yeah.
And let us start by getting those pesky mages to at least hear out the one who knows about Dunamancy.
True. I'll see what I can do there at the next. If there's a meeting tomorrow, then you might see some of those effects.
Good. I'd like to see them all at the meeting tomorrow. I hope we can get them all to work together.
Sounds good to me. I have to go back to the inn now. Ugh, so many of them over there.
It's better the inn than... Well, fuck, where do I sleep?
Remember you sleep at Leowyn's house.
Oh, yeah. Better the inn than Leowyn's house.
Ouch.
Well, you don't have to deal with the hobgoblin and bugbear there.
True. Anyway... If that's all, I'm going to close up shop and head out for the night.
All right. It's a pleasure doing business with you, she extends her hand.
He shakes her hand back after brushing off some of the flour.
I was about to say, I better not have any flour.
He brushes off the flour and then shakes her hand. And then he looks at Tate and he kind of looks at me and says, you changed up something?
Well, what?
You don't seem like you only got that magic to you anymore. Something up?
No.
Okay. He kind of like shrugs and then walks off after closing down his vendor.
Roll Arcana to see what he was talking about.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna. Wait. Roll in chat. Okay.
I hear Tate's trying to be all shady on me.
What you talking about?
What are you talking about?
You over here like, yep, I got no feelings.
6.
You can't really tell what he's talking about, to be honest.
Fine, I'm gonna check then.
I think you're as magical as ever.
Shit, let me roll die. Roll die. Not a d6. Oh!
What? What did you get?
He got a nat 20.
Oh my goodness. You can... Okay.
Alright.
This was
I'll probably keep it to myself.
This was
so
more...
You could text me it.
Yeah, this is more of a meta thing, but...
Okay.
What is...
You can text me, it's good.
I know, I'm trying to think of...
I'll be a better spy than Kaladin can ever be.
Oh!
It'll hold everyone's secrets. Did he say something?
Excuse me.
Entschuldigung.
Excuse me.
I sent you the message. I sent you the message, Car.
Well, shoot, I wanna know, but I can't roll Arcana on myself.
I mean, you know, Cookie.
I do.
Let me text you what I put.
I
Cause
don't know shit.
I want to know.
unfortunately you rolled bad in your Arcana.
Yeah.
I see.
That's what it was. Basically, Cookie, it was your decision to do that thing with Tate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what he means. Because he can tell that with you now.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, that makes me like Tate just a little bit more. Just gonna say that.
I want to know. Can you show me?
Okay.
I want to know about
Would
these
my-
strange
Copyright strikes.
Would my mages group like to do anything else before I switch to the final thing I have to do with the night?
Yeah, I guess we're gonna go to the bakery and talk about our struggles.
I'm going to hold Tate's hand again.
Oh,
Yeah, okay.
so cute.
Yes.
Hold my own hand then.
I hold your hand too. Go
Fine, I'll
pals,
be a third
remember?
wheel. I'll be a third wheel. It's fine.
Oh my goodness.
You're
Well,
not a third wheel.
this ends up in polyamory. I'm just waiting for it.
No!
Polyamory.
Oh well.
Anyway, would you like to roleplay that or?
We'll roleplay it later. You work on your thing.
Wait, I'm gonna find the French word for polyamory. Hold on.
Oh my goodness.
While she finds that, you can do your final thing for the night.
I gotta get Jules real quick. Give me a second.
Polyamour.
Polyamour.
Yeah, because it's like love, but multiple people.
Hamburger.
Cheesy hamburger.
Hamburger.
Wait, let me find hamburger. Hamburger.
Frog.
Hamburger. It's just the same thing. Hamburger.
I can't say. How the fuck does Yumi work?
Polyamour.
All right. Well, meantime, while she's taking a bit to arrive, you guys can go ahead and do your roleplay thing.
I was just going to. A date.
Yeah.
The way back might be dangerous again. You want to hold my hand just to make sure?
Oh, right. Yeah, sure. No problem.
Yeah. And I hold his hand.
She's arrived. Rose is here, and Rose is.
And that's pretty much it. Susan, get in on the action.
Get in on the action of your hand holding.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's forbidden.
Oh my goodness.
Then
I see you have a man of culture as well.
Oh my goodness.
I see I am man of culture as well.
Oh my goodness.
I see you are a Creole of culture as well.
Okay, that's enough. Jesus Christ.
Oh, you are approaching me?
Oh my goodness. Switching to the last thing for the night. Ellison.
Hello.
Okay. Don't you start, Trevor. I changed your name for a reason. Don't you dare.
I'm confused. What did I miss?
Too many JoJo references.
Ah, yes.
Oh gosh. Okay. Let's. Good job, guys.
I'm sorry. I had to. I don't know why. I had to do the you are approaching me.
Okay, switching up now. Ellison, as you were heading home.
Sorry.
You're good. Sorry. There we go. Okay. As you were heading home, you noticed that the dock was a bit different tonight.
How so?
Frozen over.
Oh. Interesting. I start heading over towards the docks and kind of looking around, seeing if there's anything around as I go.
Roll perception for me.
Give me a minute. Oh, fuck. This is gonna... Okay, I'm gonna roll... Well... What did we say my perception was earlier? +8?
No, that was your persuasion.
Persuasion, fuck. Well, either way, hang on. Why, you little fucker shit, mother. Shut up. What am I looking for?
Perception.
Okay, so 18 plus 4.
22. Okay. You see in the middle of the dock, kind of a little ways away from town, you see two people fighting in the middle of the ice. Fighting with what appear to be shadow-like scythes. 4 scythes to be exact.
Okay, so I'm going to sneak over there, but very, very quickly.
Roll stealth.
To see what the hell is going on.
Roll stealth with disadvantage.
Disadvantage?
Yes, because you're moving quickly.
Oh. Oh. Oh, fuck, wait, it's with disadvantage, damn it. I'm so sad. My first roll was a nat 20.
And then your second roll?
13, and that was stealth, so 16.
Alright. The ice kind of cracks under your steps, but you're able to get over there. And that's when you notice there's no sound coming from their fight, as it appears to be the same individual. As you realize as you get closer that it's Nerul fighting what appears to be a shadow copy of himself, as as he appears to be training and just wailing on this copy of himself.
I kind of just tilt my head to the side and watch for a moment.
And the fight gets close to a finish as he jumps into the air, and you see him throw his scythe as it spins into the shadow wheel in a way and just causes sparks to fly. No sound, because it appears that there appear to be totems of silence around their battle arenas, preventing any sound from coming through. Before finally the shadow scythe of the other Nero breaks and he is split in two.
Damn.
And then he summons the scythe back to himself, and the shadow that died turns back into his shadow as he kind of like lets his scythe disappear, taking a breath before he snaps and the totems turn off.
I kind of stand there smirking with an eyebrow raised. Now, when they say people tend to have inner battles, Now, when they say people tend to have battles with themselves, I usually think of it as a in their head kind of thing, not a in-person kind of thing.
Kind of like looks back at you, purple eyes shining for a moment before they turn back to the normal black. Well, then the only way you can really know your own flaws is to fight yourself, so...
Understandable. I can agree to that.
He then starts getting off the ice as it starts melting due to him not making it frozen anymore. You're Allison, correct?
Indeed, and you're Nerul, correct?
Yes. I met your brother. I see that you share the same quality that he does.
I frown. You met Rainier?
Yes, I've met both of them. Through both of them through a corridor of shadow, but one of them refused to leave. But, funnily enough, it was.
I heard about that.
Is there a problem with that? He says as he kind of just looks at you, hands in his pocket.
No, I find it funny. I would have been cracking up if I was there. Although if you do ever hurt my brother, we will have a problem.
Same to be said about Thrin and Lyrian.
They seem nice enough. I shouldn't have a problem.
Most people didn't back when he was calling himself the Sorcerer King, and yet they still stabbed him in the back. He says he starts walking down the shoreline. So, how long have you been hiding he kind of like motions to his fangs for a moment. To his
I frown
canine.
and kind of grip my fists tightly and kind of step back for a moment. How do you know?
He pauses and turns on his heel. Well, I can sense these things. I can sense undead in the air, and you feel like half of it. Your brother felt the same way, Kaladin anyway. And Dion as well, but he's not related to you, so I care very little.
I kind of stay on guard and tense for a moment, but I say, actually, do I have an exact age for that? Fuck it, we're gonna say, wait. About what age would a Dhampir get their fangs in?
They grow it in as when kids do. So as soon as like your canines fall out as a kid, that's when your actual fangs start coming in. So about 8 to 10, I think, is when you lose your canines.
I cross my arms over my chest. 8.
And you hide it. I assume due to being picked on, no doubt.
What other reason would there be? Same reason I filed them down.
Yes, I can tell. That's about the only reason why you don't look like one compared to your brother. Well, besides the fact, like that to me anyway. I'm one of 3 who'd be able to tell.
Intriguing. So, what's special about you that gives you that ability?
He kind of like
By
steps.
the way, I don't know much about him because this is the first time we're actually meeting, right?
Yeah. He kind of steps forward for a moment, and you notice that the air is getting very cold as your breath starts to freeze. More, I mean, since it's already cold enough as it is, since it's like 30-something degrees out. He kind of like looks at you. Every shadow there is out there, I have a connection to. Every shadow that you fear, and every shadow that a little kid fears, every shadow that someone makes a habit of jumping into as a joke to see if they can land in the corridors, and every shadow that a person casts by the light. And then he steps forward again, and his shadow kind of like bends around him for a moment as he says that. All of it, I can walk through and sense. And since since negative energy pours through these shadows, I have a tether to that as well. He then looks up at you.
As he's saying all this, my smile just slowly grows as I'm watching the shadows kind of curl around him, and my interest and curiosity grows more. Hey, the shadows never bothered me anyway.
Oh my god. I hate you so much.
I had to, I apologize. But
reference.
Well, that sounds cool. I do tend to like shadows, so be interesting to see what you can do sometime.
Yes. And then he turns on his heel again and starts walking down the shore. You're gonna stay down there by yourself, or are you gonna keep walking?
I follow after him, trying to catch up, but not trying to like make it seem like I'm chasing after him, if that makes sense.
He slows down as he kind of like looks back at you somewhat.
I kind of examine him a little bit before I say, so I hear you have a plan for the undead.
Oh yes, a plan that everyone seems vehemently against. The other idiots.
What exactly is your plan?
Well, the undead are an issue over in Solarian, so my thought, as a smart person would think, is that they need to be controlled and kept in check. Unfortunately, I looked at it from a pragmatic point of view. Everyone else looked at it from a moral point of view, and as a result, they argued against my idea.
Interesting. I assume you would think it's a good idea to have control over them because of how, what's the word?
Unpredictable?
Yeah, unpredictable they are.
You gotta pause for a moment. It's not just the unpredictability, it's more of a mercy as well.
A what?
A mercy as well.
Explain.
What they don't realize, despite their moral outcries, is that it'd be a better idea to have someone controlling the ghost, the banshees, and the revenants. Because if Galen, for example, if Galen doesn't die, the Revenant of Solarinet will not fade away. He'll continue to exist until he senses that Galen's dead. That means for the next, I don't know, 4 decades. Let's say that we're going to have an undead in the ruins of a town that is along a major road. I'd like to add. It's common sense that someone needs to be able to that someone needs to help them move on. The only way they can move on, and the only way they can move on efficiently, is if someone breaks their connection to the mortal plane, and if they're able to meet with people that they once had a life with. He then motions to Leowyn, which is why I'd bring the townspeople who died and became ghosts here, and let the goblinoids rot in whatever shadow prison I put them in, before all of them eventually fade away.
I kind of rub my chin thinking and following along with what he's saying. And the others don't support this plan.
Not one bit. Aldwin raised his voice the loudest, but all of them eventually. Dion, with his "for the good of the realm," he kind of like rolls his eyes at that idea, and the others thought that it was a bad idea.
Well, I kind of agree with it. I think it'd be a good idea.
You'd be the first in your group. Though I'm curious. He pauses. Why?
I guess it would give them more of a purpose rather than just sitting around and kind of just waiting and rotting and my head is weird. It popped in and popped out.
It just stares at you as you finish your sentence. Are you playing at some angle here, trying to somehow win affinity with me?
Why would I do that?
Be the smart plan. There are several wild cards in this village that need to be kept accountable for, and I wouldn't be surprised if I was considered one of them.
If I wanted to win affinity with you, I would bring you food, specifically from the bakery. I kind of just smirk a little bit, knowing his little interest and weakness there.
He smirks for a moment. All right, Eligard, you're getting a bit more interesting.
Lastimosa. Name's Lastimosa.
I see. All right then. Kind of folds his arm behind his back. Well, it doesn't matter anyway. It's not like I needed their approval either way.
True. It would help though, but
oh please,
you don't need it for certain.
He kind of nods along with that, and then he kind of perks up from when and he says, I don't. Then looks at you.
What's that look in your eye I'm seeing?
Nothing. Well, if my plan is such a good one and they do not approve of it, who cares what they think, I suppose?
Well, you wouldn't want to cause any trouble, but if they're never going to support the idea, I kind of just trail off.
What's your goal, Ellison? I'm just curious.
Goal with what?
Everyone has a goal in some way. I know everyone's short-term one is saving this town. But you seem like you're aiming for something else. All of your friends do. I'll learn what they want eventually, but what about you? What do you seek?
I kind of just look off into the distance and think for a moment. I'm not really sure. I want to try to make the world a better place, but I'm not quite sure how to do that yet. Guess I need some time to figure it out.
Alright then. Kind of a basic one, but they do become more complex. They do become more complex later on. He then shrugs, and then he starts walking forward again. He says, I hope you do. Just as a warning, though, sometimes the greatest roads are paved in blood.
Indeed.
He kind of like waves in and says, I've been having an interesting conversation with you, Ellison. I look forward to that again. But for now, I have a plan to hatch.
So you're going through with it tonight?
By tonight, he then pauses and looks back, and with a bit of a smirk, his eyes flash purple. By tonight, the entire undead population will be under someone else's rule. Though, I won't be doing much with them, it'll just be whatever you all want. Though, if I do deem that it's not a good idea, I won't follow along with it. After all, if the advice isn't sound, why bother listening to it? Why bother listening to it, right?
True. I hope it works out for you.
I bet it will. I still have a future to disdain, after all. He says that as the shadow kind of like builds behind him and turns to this oval shape, and you see purple energy kind of like fill the oval, turning it into a portal.
Future.
Yes. As a warning, be careful of someone who looks like me but far older. Myself from the future has no qualms about causing more destruction and mayhem to turn me into him. He might very well view this town as another sacrifice for that. And then he simply just steps through the portal and he's gone.
I kind of just take in his words and glance around a bit, but nod my head in understanding more to myself than, of course, no one around me. But yeah, and then I start heading back towards home.
As you end up back in your room, you find a black shard in your room. One very similar to the one that Kaladin has, actually.
I examine it.
Just a black shard, crystal. It's just a black shard that seems to be like a crystal.
Oh. Do I know if it's Kaladin's or not?
Kaladin, have you ever shown this shard to Ellison? You're typing in the war table, by the way, but got it. Well, you know that this isn't his. It's the way it's fragmented is different.
Let's see. Do I have Yeah, I don't know what I should do here, so I'm just going to kind of I have a little chest in my room, so for now I'm going to kind of put it in there and probably talk to Cal about it tomorrow, and then if that doesn't lead anywhere, I might ask Nerul about it, since he has his shadow connections and might be able to help me find out information about it.
All right, Gabe. All right then. And with that, everybody, The second here. The 9th of Elso has ended, and it is now the 10th. As it is a new day, with you all finishing a long rest, getting back all your health and spell slots if you lost any, and well, let's see where this day goes. All right.
What just happened?
You guys had a long rest, and it is now morning.
Okay.
It is currently 8 a.m. Some of you guys are just waking up. Other of you might already been up, but you all remember that there might be a town meeting today from what you guys. It's still bustling outside. I'm going to grab music real quick. So what's everyone up to? I assume that everyone's up to their daily ritual as they wake up in the morning?
Yes.
Yes, pretty much the same.
Shifson will wake up and say, "Ah, yes, what a great day to bother Ragus." I have dialogue planned for it, but, you know, I'm gone. I'm currently making dinner, so.
Yeah, and I will be making food also in an hour. So, yeah.
I'm going to flop on top of Tit's bed.
You wake up with a small fox flopping on top of your bed.
It kind of like jolts up for a second, but sees that it's her and it's like, oh, hey.
Hey, good morning.
Morning. What's up? Need anything?
No. Well, I wanted to see if you're awake yet, and I like your bed. It's very soft.
What, is your bed not comfortable? He like sits up.
My bed is comfortable. It's just your bed is also soft, and it's next to you.
Well, you can we can sleep in it for a little bit. We don't have to. We can open the shop a bit late if you want.
Okay.
She just like lays on her back, almost like as if she were like about to do like a snow angel type situation, like full starfish.
He like lays back down too and chuckles a little bit.
It's a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah, and how are you doing about that?
I'm doing okay.
Are you? It's okay to say that you're not.
I mean, it can be a little scary, but I think I'm doing alright. I haven't had to fight in a bit, but I think I'll be okay, because I have you.
Well, good. He tries to not like smile. He's just like, well, good. That's good. You've been doing a good job so far. All of this anyway.
So have you. And we're really trying to make this place better. It's much more than I thought I was going to do here. I thought I was just going to run a simple shop, nothing more.
Well, you still can. There's just extra stuff along with the.
Yeah, and it makes me. Are you okay?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm fine.
You can tell me stuff too.
I know. I'm fine though. I'm being totally honest. Is she like on top of the covers right now?
Yeah, just on top of them.
Okay. Well, he kind of rolls her up in the covers like a burrito.
I am a Whitney burrito burrito.
A fox burrito.
I am fox burrito.
Are you a baguette?
I am
I'm
baguette.
Okay,
Is the cuteness killing you? Are we good?
It is killing me, but
Okay, I'll let everyone else get to their thing. Okay.
funnily enough, actually, surprisingly, a meeting town was suddenly built during the night, but none of the workers seem to remember that being built.
Oh. Spooky.
Guess who got pie and sugar?
As you guys all arrive kind of like near the meeting hall at some point in the day, you see Lyrian, Nerul, and you see Lyrian and Thrin there, but you don't see Nerul.
What?
You guys are all arriving at the meeting house. Meeting house. Good morning, everybody. Hope you all slept well.
Wait, is everybody in there or?
Yeah, because you guys all noticed, from at different points of the town, that wait, there's a meeting house here. Where'd this come from?
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I just shrugged it off. It was alright.
I went to wash my face. What happened?
Lyrian asks, I hope you all slept well, in front of the meeting house, as he's kind of yawning.
I slept good.
The rest of you fine folks?
Good. Yes, I guess. Yeah.
Terrence?
Wait, yes, I'm fine. Good morning.
He kind of looks at Aldwin, Circe, and Ragus, who kind of didn't answer, and he's wondering if they're tired or anything, as he's kind of nomming on one of the cookies from last night.
Circe's currently cooking.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Well, has anyone seen their role today? I haven't seen this last night. What was that, Whitney?
I did not.
You guys?
What's that?
Have any of you seen their rule today? I haven't seen him since last night.
Nope.
Aldwin? Oh, all them missing. Okay. Kind of shrugs from a moment. Well, sure we dealt with. Also, new meeting hall I see. Does anyone know who built this?
It just showed up. I don't know anything about it.
Looks at Andraste.
Yeah. It's spooky.
So I only remember me getting a whole lot of cookies before last night, and I guess just the construction instincts kicked in, and I just built it overnight.
There's an idea. Would be an interesting one, actually.
But I doubt I would be able to construct it just process, but who knows. I have been experiencing some late phenomena lately, especially some things that I know I've heard about in regards to Vespiden, but very odd. But I guess it's not exactly detrimental.
Oh, if that's the case, shall we go inside to see your work?
I guess so. I'm going to be as surprised as all of you.
As you guys walk into the meeting hall, you see that it's you guys know what a church is like. Where it has where it has a bunch of like rows of seats heading towards like a central podium area that's higher up.
Yeah.
That's basically this meeting house, but imagine it more in a circle, with the podium being in the middle of the building, with chairs just around the entire thing.
So like a coliseum, or
yeah, kind of.
Half a coliseum.
What's your guys react? And you see that it's made out of some pretty good wood from what it looks like. The chairs look new, as if the chairs look new as well. They look like they're full on like row chairs, not like single chairs that are just like that have been moved into place. And it's cold in here too, as usual, but it's kind of like you're kind of warming up while you're in here, as if like the heat's kind of being trapped in here. Well then, this is a rather astonishing place.
Yes. Oui.
I wonder. Currently they're in the meeting house looking at it as it was built overnight by somebody. No one knows who.
It's magic.
Is there actually a spell that would make a building this quick?
No.
Well, there is Andraste.
I mean, if someone cast haste on somebody and they had a lot of time to kill.
Okay.
Yeah, but doesn't exactly look like my camera craftsmanship, but who knows.
That is a good meal. This is very tasty. Yes, well, that's my doing. No, it's not. I made it. Oh, wow, that is a lovely building. Is it real?
I think so. And I might or might not have constructed it overnight.
You did? All by yourself?
I have no idea. I got high on sugar.
You get high on sugar and you just build a whole entire building. What is this wood? Oh my goodness.
Though it might be some kind of magic, I'm not sure myself. It was very me.
How did you get this wood so polished?
Oh, that's kind of one thing that I'm not sure myself. Because
you're not sure yourself. How did you build this overnight? Wouldn't someone have heard it? I mean, I'm not a heavy sleeper.
Yeah, good point.
I know we are. We know what you are. What?
Yeah, good point. If I was working, everyone in the whole city would have heard it, but yeah, I'm still debating if it was me or someone else.
Very goddamn. Everyone's assuming Andraste. It's just funny.
It can't be Andraste because, I mean, we would have heard it overnight. I would have looked outside. I would have saw one busy bee working away at this building, and that'd be.
Oh God! Real quick, Kaladin, the meeting house was built overnight by somebody, and no one knows who. And plenty of people are just looking at Andraste, but no one can figure out who built this place as you're inside of it. Jesus.
Roll investigation.
Full investigation.
Okay. Alright, where is my investigation? It's only +2. It's fine.
I was what did I miss?
Nothing much.
I got a call.
Oh God!
We are trying to solve a mystery.
I rolled a 6 twice tonight. Both rolls have been 6.
Hey Tate, you want to try and figure this out?
Sure.
If Tate rolls a nat 20, that will be another trend of this. I swear.
By the way, can I roll as well?
Yeah.
would I have advantage due to me having proficiency with Mason's tools?
Yes.
18.
Okay,
All right.
18. Anyone who wants to roll, go ahead. Oh, I think that's a 19 actually, because I think Tate has a +1 in his intelligence now.
Oh, hey, dum-dum. Right.
Right,
Was I supposed to get something from level 4, like with
Am
my
I supposed to
stats?
roll anything in investigation?
Okay.
if you want.
Well, it's 19, technically.
Alright.
Also, would I add my proficiency bonus?
Yes.
Alright,
Roxy,
then it would be a 19.
Roxy, either an ability score improvement +2 or +1, or a feat, up to you.
Oh my god. I hate this.
What?
I don't like this die. This is a very cursed die.
Would you roll? No, you guys are still level 4.
Put it in the VC chat.
Is that your second nat 20?
Yeah. And it was immediately after her 6, too.
And Terrence
Both times.
And Terrence
What
got a
the
nat
fuck?
20.
Fucking hell.
Okay.
Just, Roxy, roll a 6 all the time so I can get 20 immediately after. Like,
So thanks to so Tate, you're the first one to figure this out, and eventually everyone else kind of like comes along to the same idea too. But you all eventually realize that this was not built by Andraste, but this is Elven architecture, but this is Elven architecture that used to exist for the guys who visited, that existed in Solarinet, as if someone from Solarinet built this.
okay, so who do we know lives in Solarinet?
As you're kind of like pondering that, Nerul comes in and says, "Oh, I see the place got built up nice."
Oh, you were the one to build this.
Oh no, I wasn't the one to build it. I just had help.
From?
He snaps, and for a brief moment, you see spirits throughout the entire building before he snaps again, and they're gone.
I take it they built this super quietly at night.
Yes. Ellison! Welcome back. Yes.
Hi.
Yes, I had some of the spirits of Solarinet build a meeting house so that way we could meet up here. Wait, I'm sorry. Leowyn kind of cuts in. The spirits of Solarinet, as in I did what you said not to do because I thought it was a good idea. Are we going to argue about this, or are we just going to accept it and move on?
Real quick, is this at a meeting or something?
This is at the meeting house the next day.
Because it was built overnight.
Yeah, we were debating if it was Andraste who built it overnight by eating a lot of sugar in the evening. But well, turns out it's just the work of spirits.
Though I think one of them might have used your body, Andraste. I have no idea.
Izzy, come here.
Well,
wait. So you unwillingly possessed Andraste?
I didn't.
Oh my god.
Well, I do have I have picked up the gifted wargroup feat, which might suggest something. And I am currently just role playing it off right now, if it's possible. But oh well.
Nerul kind of like looks so much. Does anyone look kind of upset that he did what he did without asking permission? Out of curiosity.
Let me get this straight. He raised the undead. He sort of possessed Andraste. And he built this all overnight. I didn't tell anyone.
No, he binded the undead that were already there to him, and then he doesn't know if they binded if one of them possessed Andraste or not. He said it might have happened, but he has no idea.
A mage using unlawfully mage powers just beyond everyone's back with no regulation? Sounds like that's something I don't like.
Aldwin.
Yeah.
It's been revealed that the meeting house was built by spirits of Solarinet that Nerul binded. He's right in front of you all in the meeting house.
Alden will pinch the bridge of his nose. Personally, I want to let it slide this one time. Simply because this is actually going to be much more helpful in the long run.
Yes, as long as the spirits stay here, they'll be defending this town, which will help you all in the long run as well.
But at the same time, this could potentially turn into a thorn in everyone's side because, well, instead of the undead staying in their home place, They had instead been displaced to here, in the middle of living people.
You mean to the people? You mean to the people they loved and cared about and lost 20 years ago?
Yes and no. Yes and that. Okay, who am I echoing?
Rose.
Yeah.
You're echoing for me?
Yeah.
Oof. Okay.
Okay, yes and no. Yes and that. Yes, these spirits know these people here. But no, and that, and on death, not every memory is sent over. And undead spirits are often the extreme version of someone's personality, sometimes taking on the worst parts of it.
Well, from what I can tell so far, he kind of snaps again. The spirits are kind of just wandering around throughout the place. From what I can tell, they're all doing well and fine. In fact, I believe that Leowyn is in fact meeting with, I believe both Zhao and Leowyn are meeting with some people that they haven't seen in years. So for right now, and if any of them prove unruly, then I banish them to the afterlife as need be, so they can finally move on, instead of sticking to one place and most likely living out their days fading away instead of going to heaven like they were supposed to. Or hell, depending on which one, depending on the person. Besides, you can thank your dear friend here for giving me that idea. He motions to Ellison.
I'm kind of standing in the back of the room and kind of just like my eyes widen as he gestures to me. Hi. I kind of just shrug and say, I kind of agree with his points. It kind of seems more practical.
Sorry, I blanked. What did he say?
Nerul revealed that for the most part he's keeping them here so that way he can make them move on to the afterlife if need be, if they don't move on themselves, and also that Ellison was the one who helped him, who gave him the idea of doing it anyway without anyone's approval.
Just tell one of us next time.
He then steps down from where he is and says, "Now, shall we? Now the others should be arriving soon, I bet." Yes. Leowyn kind of just sighs. Had to deal with the multitude of factions that are in this town. And eventually, the meeting house does start getting filled up with people as Darrow walks in with Gawain, actually, his son.
I didn't use that picture.
That's beautiful.
I think seriously, I think the majority of people are on your side for this. Okay, tell me, did the majority of people not like, who was for this? Who was for Nerul doing this, and who was against? Just to get an idea.
Wait, Nerul, he did what to?
He binded the undead, basically making it to where he moved them from Solarinet, put them in Leowyn, and basically has control over them. But he's not.
I don't like that.
But he's doing that basically so that way they can. He's doing. From what you can tell, he said he's doing that because A, the spirits interacting with people that they knew will help them move on later, and also it means that you guys have more allies on your side to protect the town.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. We got more allies. I don't see a problem with that.
Well, that's win-win-win.
You have good intentions, but I do not know how I feel about using the dead who cannot consent to this.
That's one for, that's one against.
It's 2 for 2 against.
It doesn't matter.
Dion's for it, and Aldwin's against it.
All right.
I like
Cal is
having
for
allies, but I do not like them dead.
I mean, I'm fine.
Oh my fucking god, I will strangle you, Dion.
If Susan, my best girl pal, were dead, I would not want her to fight anymore. She should get to rest.
These guys.
Well, I'm just kind of to rest and wait around for.
What?
Wait, what?
You broke up there, Allison.
Yeah, you broke up a lot.
Dead person going to continue to exist and wait around for nothing for a long time. This is kind of giving them a purpose. Or more of one, at least.
With that, with that at the same time, Leowyn walks and looks at Nerul and says, "Did you?" Yep. He looks. He kind of like stares at Nerul for a moment and says, "Thank you for giving me back my son. Don't do that again." All right. As he walks up to the top of the podium and he looks at the rest of you and says, "You guys coming up here or what? I'm gonna ask you guys questions as much as me."
Fine.
I kind of stand back still.
Yeah.
Does that include me as well?
Nerul kind of like looks at you, scared.
What's the matter? Scared?
Wait. No, I've just never been asked for my opinion on many things in this sense.
We're quite literally defending these people from goblinoids. Get used to it.
I step up and follow them all.
What?
I assume everybody's gonna step up there, or
Oh, to do what?
to step up to the podium so that way you guys are kind of like leading the meeting in a way.
Okay.
For Dion Tate,
Whitney.
Marcus Kaladin, Aldwin Whitney Searson.
It says Whitney.
Whitney.
Yeah, you're good to go off mood. I think it was mainly because of the noise in the background.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Whitney.
All right, but with Perry, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right.
Ready, quit.
As the meeting starts, you see Grayo and Lenato come in, and they both kind of like give you a quick salute. They don't seem to be happy that much about what's going on right now, but they're not saying. But Grayo isn't saying much right now. But eventually, the meeting does come to a start as the last of the people come in, and Daryl says, "So, everybody, you're welcome to the first meeting of the Leowyn town. Congratulations, everybody!" And then there's kind of like some quiet applause. I see that we have plenty of new people around. Unfortunately, we can't really introduce ourselves, but we can probably come together to help this town with the help of these fine folks. He says he motions to your group. They, along with me, will be answering any questions that you need, and hearing any suggestions you have. All right. First of all, does anyone have any suggestions they'd like to say, whether up here or down there? Kind of looks at you guys for a moment. No one has any idea of like what they want. No one has any requests or anything.
So wait, how many people are here?
The entire town, for the most part, who can attend.
Alden will step forward for a moment. Prior to open up suggestions, I suggest two things. Darrow. Eventually, the construction of a school, so that we might have some place to retain knowledge and the lore our town has. But also, the construction of a fort, so we might be able to better defend the town.
Some of the people, you hear some of the people like in the audience kind of like nodding along to you, actually particularly the mages. And then after Dion's proposal comes up about how to keep people fed, one of the farmers ends up and says, well, "We could always get that." Actually, no. Do you actually have that building already? Give me a second, real quick. Well, we could always start building that granary we always talked about. There's a start. Or start helping the farmers around here more, since we're the ones who gotta feed you guys.
Burning what? What did he say?
He said we could start helping the farmers around here more, like building stuff, more particularly the farming and the like. I mean, we're the ones who have to feed you.
Yes.
Yes, that's true. Food is a priority.
How is the bakery going to get their goods?
Yeah. How about we start preparing some fields and then silo and then the other things?
Although we can't expand our town too much, otherwise the druids demand.
Oh, yes, that is a problem.
I think we can expand it enough to help us survive.
I say that if the druids don't want their land expanded upon, they should also offer to help with the food gathering.
That is a good point.
The druid, like the Circle of Dreams, kind of steps up and says, "Oh, that's no problem at all." You see Resli kind of there, and you see Thrin kind of just tensing up for a moment as he stares at her before relaxing again. The Circle of Dreams can do that rather easily, though we'd be a lot better at it if we had the Circle of the Land on our side. Yeah, what about the land guys? Any word on them?
We have not struck contact with them yet. However, with your aid, we might be able to pull them to our side a bit better.
He was hoping, one of the villagers seems to say.
Hmm?
One of the villagers says he was hoping.
And the farmers, what is your opinion on this? Sorry.
That works for us. I mean, also,
that works.
And then you hear some of the fishermen come up. Hey, if you want more food, we fishermen could always get that fishery we've been hearing about. That is a building, by the way. Fishery. Building.
I'm checking it right now.
And a fishery would be more year-round, mostly, than growing crops.
Alden will speak up. About the granary idea and the fishery. How can I put this? The town needs a little bit more work done. Another building tailored towards our health is going to be needed to at least possibly meet the prerequisite of the granary.
Well,
Same thing with the fishery.
And that's when you hear, "If I may speak, then." And that's when you see.
Who's that?
And that's when you see that it's Onyx, the plague doctor look-alike person that kind of like raises his hand as he stands. He kind of like towers above some of the other humans. If I could have more workers. I built up a medical tent here recently. Then I've been doing my best to deal with the recent plague of injured and sick that have been flooding in from the farmlands. If we were able to build something to help with, if you need help with health, in that case, having some workers look towards there might be a start.
Would the construction of something like a herbalist shop better supply your efforts?
Yes, in fact, the local alchemist shop does do good work. He motions to Ragus with a nod, with his potions and the like. But still, the amount of resources that I'm working with are quite thin.
Well, who do you propose should be your workers?
Well, if some of these alchemists... Well, you seem to gather alchemists from Aeneas, so why not them for a start? If some of the druids can do the same as well, that would also be fine.
Ragus? What? Are you going to help them? I see no reason why not. You may have the alchemists. I get to be the only one around here who owns a shop. So, very well, you will have your alchemists.
Wonderful, thank you. Put that down. And then one of the mercenaries says, hold up. You're talking a lot about the people here, but what about the ones who have to defend your sorry hides from the goblinoids out there? Don't we need something too?
Ah, yes, you requested a brewery, correct?
Yeah, I mean, after all, with the stuff that we're going to be dealing with, it might be nice to have a drink here now and then, right, boys? And you hear a bunch of the scarves kind of like cheer at that. And
The
then
drinks from the inn cannot suffice?
it's an inn, not a tavern, ma'am. You hear Leowyn just kind of like face palm in the background.
I kind of frown a bit and say, so you, the ones going off to battle, would rather have drinks when you return home than being able to heal and be safe and alive? I think maybe a place to handle injuries might be a better first step than a tavern or something of the like.
We're the ones that'll keep standing here, so it is all. Yeah.
And a lot of people think that drinking and healing are one and the same. Unfortunately.
Where is where's Perry's plans of building? Oh, there it is.
No,
Meeting hall, school. Well, we already have a well. Ports.
At the very least, these watchtowers are going. These watchtowers work kind of, I guess, but still, ugh. And then Leowyn kind of like mutters, "They're going to need something to keep their hands busy, so they don't focus on the brewery." You guys hear him whispering behind you guys.
How about, give me a second here, I might have a suggestion.
On the contrary, I do feel like the brewery might help because we do need them under control in order for us to have more control over what the mages say, because their current issue is dealing with the mercenaries.
How about...
Oh yeah, go on.
Okay, do we have a guardhouse?
I'm going to propose, what do the mages think of this? How would you entertain the mercenaries for the time being?
You see Verno kind of step out and he says, "Oh, the mercenaries want to complain so much about getting drinks. Complain so much about getting drinks when they're spending our money trying to buy them. I say that they have to work for it more. In fact, they have watchtowers, and like maybe we need to build more. Maybe we need to focus more on them actually doing their jobs."
Not the greatest idea, but thank you.
Another mage comes in and says, "If need be, we can build the if they really want drinks that badly, then I say give the brewery to them, but don't let them drink as much as they like. There should be rationing of how much alcohol they are able to consume. After all,
from what we have gathered so far, the mercenary group has not done much in favor of Leowyn, correct?
So far, they've been manning the few outposts that have been. They've been manning the few watchtowers that have been built for the most part, but they haven't been sent out to go fight against the goblinoids in the 2 days that they've been here thus far."
Yeah, I'd propose that if you guys wish to have a brewery, it should be established as a reward for your efforts in battle. And as of right now, we have not experienced any battles. Is that correct?
Yeah, when the guy that came up with the ideas kind of says like right there, and Mirno kind of like has a smile on his face. "Well, it seems like you have work to do on that part, then, don't you?" Fine. They kind of like sumps back down.
It'll be established. We will promise a brewery as a reward of your efforts in battle.
All right then. The mage then. You see, and then as you guys are talking more, you see Leia in the background, kind of like just kind of like drawing with her cane into the carpet of the meeting hall. She's kind of like looking up at you guys, sort of taking note from what it looks like. And as it were, considering that we brought such good advisors out of the quiet places they were, have they had any ideas of how to deal do they have any ideas of how to deal with our current problems? Actually, have you discussed this with them at all? He says, looking up at you all.
I do believe they have some plans with the Dunamancy, correct?
Leowyn nods and steps up and says, "Well, I am." Hello, everybody. I'm Leowyn Nera. But yes, we do have a plan in mind for the Dunamancy, as it were. Currently, currently the only known counter back when Dunamancy was first founded was another Dunamancer, canceling gravity in a way. However, we might be able to know a way to nullify his abilities that would take some time to be able to fully implement that plan. It would cause a drastic change in gravity for a brief moment, but it wouldn't affect any of our forces that are in the region that badly.
So, what do you propose?
Well, you see, there are these crystals that fluctuate with that cause fluctuations in magic here and there. I studied them back before when I was part of the Mages Guild. You still are, Nara. Anyway,
right. Crystals.
The crystals can cause manipulations in magic. It can give people magic, take it away, or even cause shifts. For example, as I discovered at one point, if someone used graviturgy magic within the presence of these crystals, gravity would shift or break even at moment's notice.
Righty. The Mages Guild, what is your say on this?
The 10 leaders kind of look when this is like, if Nara believes that he has an idea, then I say we let him do it. Leah kind of seems for a brief moment. Leah kind of like looks back at them and then looks forward at you all. If anyone would like to try and figure out her mood, please roll insight.
Who?
Leah.
Oh.
One.
Oh yeah.
Another 23.
Another 23. Whoa!
I'm gonna give it a shot.
Insight.
Natural 20.
Alright. For a total of
23.
Alright.
17.
Alright, 17. Would anyone else like to roll insight, or is that all? 18. Anyone else or no? That's everybody that wants to roll?
Sure, I'll give it a roll. Why not? Sorry, I saw a very funny meme. There's a picture of a hair cell. Yes. What?
Cookie, were you asking something there? One more time, you sound muffled there.
Are you being kidnapped?
I'm still not hearing you correctly.
Hello?
I'm waiting.
Oh.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you better.
I said I'm not rolling.
Okay. Well, with the rolls thus far, you were able to figure out that Leah was kind of surprised by the statements of her colleagues, but she doesn't seem too perplexed by it, as if she might be planning something.
Did you have any ideas? I asked, directed towards her.
Oh no! That plan sounds absolutely wonderful as of now. It's a wonderful idea you've hatched up, Leowyn. Thank you. She still has that smirk on her face.
And so, what does insight tell us?
So Insight told you that she seems surprised by the fact that her colleagues voted yes for Lyrian's idea, but she's not too perplexed or annoyed by it because she seems to have something planned. But what, you can't tell really. But her general body language says that she's still sure. With what?
Detect thoughts.
You're gonna cast Detect Thoughts.
Sure. Why not?
Oh, she's gonna counterspell it.
No, actually. So I'm guessing you're gonna use Subtle Spell so that way it doesn't look like you're casting it.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Where do I have to mark that somewhere?
Spell
Or can I just
sheet.
remember it? No, I mean the sorcerer point.
Oh, that's on that's on the first page under the sorcery points option.
Stab.
Yes, it is,
Damn.
Trevor.
So I am using.
All right.
Oh,
See ya.
Good night, Digi.
Good night, DG. It was
Night.
fun.
But
miss
yeah,
you, comrade.
I cast Detect Thoughts and I use subtle or what's it called?
Subtle Spell.
Oh, yeah. I use Subtle Spell to make it not obvious I am casting it.
Well, this is surface level thoughts, so I'm just gonna say this right now. You can tell that she's kind of wondering like how many people are actually falling for Lyrian's act.
Mm-hmm. You said there's a way I can go deeper into her mind?
Yes, but then she'll know if you probe deeper.
But she won't know soon enough where she can hide the thoughts that she's currently thinking.
It'll be a
before I hear
contest.
them.
Yeah, but she'll probably call you out on it.
That's fine.
Alright.
I'm going to probe deeper.
Okay, with Detect Thoughts, I need you to roll a... Oh, nope, she needs to roll a Wisdom saving throw. Give me a second.
Hee.
Let's hope this doesn't screw you over in the end. What's your DC?
Fuck. Wait, actually, let me see my DC and then I'll decide if I'm going to do it. Don't use your super high rolling one that you always roll high with.
I have my green one. Stop being a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm using my super... I'm saving my super high rolling one for combat, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Blah, blah, blah.
What am I thinking of?
14.
14, thank you. It's a high level. Yeah, she passed that with the 14 on the die.
Damn it. So what's that mean?
She means that okay, so with Detect Thoughts, that means that I think the spell immediately ends, but the last thing you hear is oh wait, it fails. And actually no, the probe fails, but from what it looks like. Oh yeah, the spell just ends. Yeah, but the last thing you hear before the spell ends is naughty Lastimosa, I see. Before the connection's cut off. And she seems to be looking directly at you, Ellison.
Oh shit.
I kind of just frown and glance away from her.
Shit got real.
I kind of then say,
Indeed, Norm, indeed.
I kind of then say, all right then, I have little else to say for now. And then she steps back.
That was her?
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
I suppose we also need a plan to ensure that when we are placing these crystals and going after the Dunamancer, that he is there. Does anyone have any suggestions for that?
Well, we could always go and fight him at his base, and you hear a few plenty of scars actually show that of getting into a straight up fight. Or we could trap him in Solarinet, as was a thought beforehand, with the undead that are now on our side, thanks to the efforts of one of our mages. Thanks to the efforts of one of the mages, Nirul has a bit of a. You notice that Nirul has a bit of a smirk on his face as he's leaning against the wall, off the podium.
She kind of grumbles about that, but moving on. Is there any other options? Tone proposes.
Well, there's always. Why don't we have Count Aeneas or Baron Count Aeneas or not Aeneas, Count Nilua or Baron Girth help us out too? Girth's already on his way down after he's probably gonna smash those stupid. I just realized how close this name sounds to a country in our real world, but I'm running with it. Ilvanians.
Oh, rip.
And then you notice that it's kind of split between those three ideas: either fight them up front, fight them with Girth, or fight them in Solarinet.
Okay. Party, does the council have any decisions? And by that I refer to the party.
Alden will kick this out. And he'll say, as Dion and Calden and I have experienced, walking straight up to their base and trying to perform an attack would be suicide.
But not impossible. You hear one of the mages pop up. After all, if we raid them enough, they'd be forced. If we push them back on the defensive enough, we could march in. And since you said yourself that their camp is a ways from the town, launching a siege on it would not be as far-fetched as before, resulting in civilian casualties.
Indeed, and thank you for that.
Wait, so that thought was put them back in their camp is?
Yeah, basically, raid them and then invade them.
Mm-hmm.
The only problem I would see with that is that they know their land, and do we have anyone here who knows their land like they do? They can use it to their advantage.
The druids might.
None of the druids kind of speak up, but then Luca, what's his name? Luca? Give me a second, quick. Sorry.
Luca Bill.
Ha ha. Sorry, just trying to cross-reference names real quick.
Sorry, but I kind of have to go now.
Oh okay. Yeah, it's getting real late for
Norm.
Night, Norm.
Hey,
Norm, I love you.
Bye, Norm.
Can we get some pet Terrences in the chat?
Yes.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Bye.
Some pet Terrences in the chat. Bye.
Alright, what else was I thinking? Okay, it was Luca. Luca kind of says, well, there's always the circle of the swamps who have been living in that land that the goblinoids have carved out for themselves, but they're part of a trifecta of the circle of the lands. From what I hear, that guy, they call him the Grim Marsher. Apparently, he's an earth elf.
Then the circle of the land, and thus the circle of the swamp will be high on the list of diplomatic meetings.
I do have another idea. We do have someone here who can, let's just say, travel through shadows, appear hidden. I glance over to Nirul.
He kind of looks at you, wondering what your game is.
We can have someone sneak in and try to spy.
Whoever that is most doubtly insane. Because no one could brave the shadows. And there they go. If they were, they've mostly gone insane. Or there's some rabid shadow elf who's causes trouble for everybody else. Oh, not far off there.
Wait, who's the one saying that?
It's one of the mages, but you hear Nerul commenting not far off there.
Look, if he can do it, he can do it. Not my problem.
But what do you... Well, who is this person?
I thought Ellison mentioned it was Nerul. I'm sorry.
I didn't say him, I just looked towards him and made eye contact with him, but not obvious enough where everyone else would have noticed.
Is that person going to stand?
Nerul kind of sighs for a moment and then kind of like gets off the wall and says, yeah, all right. I can spy for you all, but the question of the day here is, why would I want to use the shadows for war? Keep in mind that it's not my domain. It's the domain of the Shadowbringer, who would no doubt be unhappy if we started using her home as a battleground.
It wouldn't be much of a battleground, more of just transportation to spy.
Hey, Kaladin, you know what happened to the last people who tried that?
Wait, is he asking me, like, in person, or...?
Yes, he's asking you. He's glancing back at you.
About those who tried to spy through the Shadow Realm?
Yes, what happened to them again?
Kinda died.
Thank you. Elin looks at the crowd, who kind of mutter amongst themselves.
Well, if there's a chance of him dying, then I suppose that would be a waste of resources.
By the way, you guys are... Some of you... I'm just going to say this because you guys know this, because since he's immune to the Shadowfell, he's playing the crowd. He's basically making it seem like he's making it seem like it brings harm to him, when really he'd be fine going through. He's basically...
I don't say this, but I kind of just like narrow my eyes while I'm looking at him, trying to make eye contact.
He kind of looks back at you for a moment, and then he just kind of looks back at all of you for a moment before he looks forward again.
Oh, would I know this and figure this out? Sorry.
Oh yeah, he's told everybody about it. Leowyn did mention to everybody how the shadows work for Nerul and how he's immune to any effects they have. And
really?
And Kaladin knows that Nerul was the one who killed those spies that ran through that tried to go through the shadow realm.
Well, really, Nerul, are you telling us that you would die if you were to ever spy on them?
He then looks back and says, well, the likelihood of me dying is always a chance, but there's nothing guaranteed about it.
Something tells me the chances of you dying is just a little bit less than everyone else's. So with that, I will take those odds, if that's okay with you.
There's a bit of a smile on his face. He says, all right.
Does the town agree?
Everyone kind of like mutters amongst themselves, and they all of them raise their hands. And Leowyn says, "All right then, we'll begin using his shadows to help us in a spying operation on the goblinoids."
All right.
And then you hear through the shadows, "Well played, well played."
We can all hear that?
Yes, you can all hear it.
Is it him talking?
It is him. You just don't know you just don't know which him.
I just kind of roll my eyes at it. Ragus is like, ugh. Shadow talk. They're speaking in shadows. What is this?
But
any other advisements from the town council?
From the council only, or
yeah, from the party, like their inputs on things. This party is essentially the town council at this point. How do we vote on? What are we voting on? What are we planning to do with Galen Merrick? How about that?
Kill him! And then you hear a bunch of people just say, you hear the majority of the town just agree with that.
No. I'm talking about our plans of attack.
Oh,
brother.
I was about to say, yeah, no, literally, one of them shouts out, "Kill him!"
The party's plans of attacks, because we have going to the base. We have probably trapping him at that one town. I already forgot the name. I hate notes. And then we have the meeting up with the Baron. If any other suggestions are available, I am glad.
Alden's gonna speak up. Oh, actually, something's kind of in my head right now.
Yes, do tell.
The question of leadership in battle.
In battle, the Scarves say, and what, like a commander? The Scarves kind of like mutter amongst themselves.
Yes. Last I checked, battles aren't won because of a mob of people falling behind a banner and charging in.
So what do you propose, Aldwin? Should we host an election?
We could. Or election, or
Dion suggested a tournament.
A tournament? We can institute a de facto leader until the immediate threat is over, and then try to settle things a bit longly.
One of the Scarves says, "After the immediate threat's gone, we're out of here. Our paycheck's done." And then you hear a couple of the guys laughing in the background, and then you hear Thryn say, "Oh, classy, very classy."
I'll just kick this out. I am a former knight of the forest. Now, recently knighted as a Jade Knight. If you seek a leader in battle, I can lead.
I'd stand behind him, you hear Grayo say as he stands up. I already stood next to him.
So the town is going to agree on the fact that we'll have Sir Aldwin. I forgot your last name, sorry.
Hollywood.
Sir Aldwin Hollywood as the commander of the army, of the forces of Leowyn.
It is their choice.
Are there any seconds to this decision?
The leader of the Elothan Scarves, who appears to be a let me see. I'm trying to think of a race here.
Does Dion second the decision?
You can speak, by the way, Dion, if there's no noise in the background.
Yeah, you can speak, bro. He does. Okay, so he seconds the decision. All
right. This, I got it. All right. A Earth Ganassi kind of just stands. Is kind of like the leader of the Scarves, who appears to be an Earth Ganassi, is kind of like nominated by one of the Scarves. And then you hear Leowyn kind of say behind you guys, "The factions are already starting up. I'd be careful here."
This is more for out of character. How would we feel about having a council of leaders versus just one leader? So one from each faction.
I'm just working based off proposals, and Aldwin proposed, so I'm seeing the opinion.
Aldwin will kick out an idea.
There has to be a clear chain of command in battle. It's different than economic or socio-political leadership. Unfortunately,
True.
It's inefficient to have more than one person being truly in charge in a military operation. Even the great Dion would recognize that democracy isn't always the best choice in terms of battle.
Please.
We must let the maiden
That's why
guide the correct decision.
I was not going to go for an election and rather a de facto leader for the time being, and once the thing is over, we can work on elections then.
I would agree with that. It's normally best to set up some form of temporary government before true open elections are considered.
Alden will kick this out. To the other perspective, to Elasi or Gnasi, what's his name is?
Steel.
Steel?
Mm-hmm.
Steel. And to other prospective leaders. This is going to be a coalition force.
Now, Dion.
One made of multiple different parties and factions, not just your mercenary party and the locals of Leowyn, the town of Leowyn. Would you feel comfortable working beside Vespidons who distrust you?
As a mercenary, everybody distrusts us. We don't care if you like us or not. We're just here to help you fight what's needed.
Have you been going out and making contact with other parties that will fight alongside us, or at least aid us in military matters?
Not currently, no. The most we got on our side is the Count right now. He seems content to just keep sending us out here.
If I remember correctly, there was a deal made.
With respect to both parties, Sir Aldwin's role is merely as an expert for this battle and this battle specifically. You are still in charge of your mercenary group.
Steel kind of rubs his chin for a moment. All right, Hollywood. I'll second your vote. Just get us something good out of it. You're already holding a brewery over our heads. Kind of notice that this current moment the Scars faction kind of sees. Based off all your conversations right now, it seems like the Scars faction is kind of iffy with you guys, but they're willing to support Aldwin's claim to leadership.
If it makes you feel any better, once this is all said and done, there'll be a great feast.
I can work with that. And you hear a couple of cheers. And some of the majors are still discussing amongst themselves. And Leowyn's kind of watching them in particular. And then Leah speaks up and says, "We'll support Hollywood's claim as de facto leader," cutting off literally every other leader in the group. She's got something planned.
Leah, do you mind stating your reasons as to why you support his claims?
Well, as one of the Knights of the Green, he's one of the last people who ever fought the Goblinoids, and he was able to make it out of it alive. So I'm sure that he has excellent tactics and strategies that could be used in our battle against them. And if anything, you do have senior commanders on your side. After all, I'm sure that you'll be able to come up with an idea that will be able to save this town most efficiently. If anyone would like to roll insight on that, they can.
Oh, I'm bloody going inside.
Shit on that. I second.
I'm rolling.
Thank you, Dion. Thank you, Dion.
9.
13. Can I cast Detect Thoughts?
20.
Unnatural. Okay.
Does Whitney have anything to say?
What?
Exactly.
What? What?
Are you rolling insight on this woman's bullshit?
What'd she say?
Bullshit. That's what she said.
What did she say?
Yeah, bro, I know who she is. He's the dude from the series.
From what you can tell that she's supporting Aldwin's claim just because the more people start to trust Aldwin, the more people start to trust Aldrin. If he fails, it'll look bad on all of you and not her.
How will it look bad on me?
Because
propose this.
Because if Aldwin fails, you're the ones that supported him heavily.
Yeah, but if Aldwin fails, then
expressed any support for him. I have just merely proposed the idea.
But if it works for the other way around, then
we
we're
don't
fine.
deserve to be the champions of the people if we cannot protect them.
Basically, she's playing the long game here.
She's playing her cards.
Mm-hmm. And considering how she's thinking, she probably has a plan for if you do succeed.
What do you mean if we do succeed? What would her plan be against us?
She's
insight.
The only thing she wants is Leowyn back in his cage. She's willing to is Leowyn back in his cage. She cares little for everyone else here.
She's trying to build up threats she can yank.
I think we could use her.
As bait?
As what?
Well,
as bait?
I think that we can offer the imprisonment of one man for the salvation of the many, and that would be a worthwhile trade if she has the power to do so.
Or we could vote for his prison movement.
Change your mind.
But the mages are behind Sir Aldwin Hollywood, and the townspeople kind of like talk amongst themselves, and the rule kind of like leans back against the podium, and he's kind of like leans back against the thing that sets the podium higher than the rest of the floor. He says, "I think this is about to be a landslide here." And eventually, the villagers do decide to accept Hollywood as the de facto leader of the military force of the defense force as well. And then Leowyn comes in and says, "Well then, Aldwin, do you accept the position?"
I kicked it out.
All right then. Meet the commander of the Leowyn Defense Force. And then you hear a bunch of cheers. But and Leia just has a big smirk on her face as everyone's just cheering and standing.
There's that one guy that's just foaming.
And you see, and then you see,
Yes.
What about foaming mouth guy? I heard about foaming mouth guy.
Perry's the commander of the army, and then I'm like, everyone's cheering, and I'm like, there's always that one foamy mouth guy.
There he is. I found him first.
Oh my goodness. Jesus Christ.
Thank you, foamy mouth guy.
But with that, but then the last thing that's brought up is the two clerics then walk forward and say, "Just to be clear as well, has there been a thought about building a chapel for the people here, for both spirits and people alike?"
Actually, I might have a response to that.
Pino says, "The people here have been dealing with that altar for some time, but it might be better for them to have something greater." And then Leanne also says, and it would be best to build a chapel sooner than later to have more of the gods on our side in our fight, as their blessings might be needed. You see her sigil of the Light Brother the necklace of the symbol of the Light Brother kind of just hanging from her neck. To be clear, it'd be a church, it'd be a chapel for all the gods that the people of the town worship.
My brother's such a dick, though.
My brother's such a dick, though.
I won't say it.
I'm sorry. Like,
you don't know that.
Perfectly balanced.
No, Ellison doesn't know that, but I know that.
I only think in paragons. Sorry.
Perfectly balanced. Nothing should be a boy.
Well, there are likely people eager to get to work on something. If you can, Aldwin will kick this out. There are likely people eager to do something and get their mind off of the current situation. Do you think I'll propose this? Since you seek to perform this, we'll sign off on it. The town council. But if you can whip up enough people to help with the construction, put forth holy symbols, holy items to be placed in the chapel, or help build it and contribute resources,
sorry.
A plot of land can be set aside for its construction.
I also propose that a church should serve a dual purpose. that dual purpose to also help the sick and injured from those in battle, as she motions to the plague doctor guy. As Onyx has mentioned.
Onyx nods, and both Asimers say at the same time, "It will be done."
Onyx, you are the one who proposed the idea in the first place. Would you be willing to work with the clerics in their chapel should we build it?
Onyx kind of like looks at the Asimer, and then he gives a slight bow to them, and he says, "Most assuredly."
Then it is settled.
All right. And then after that, Leowyn says, "Is there anything else to discuss?" Silence amongst them. All right, then. Everyone will discuss. We'll be letting you know what will be done. We'll be letting you know what will be done momentarily, please. And then they start to file out. Everyone starts to file out at that point, and then Leowyn kind of just sits on like the edge of the podium, and he's just kind of like puts his hand, like rubs his hand over his face, and he says, "Well, that was deja vu."
What do you mean?
Well, that reminds me of when that action you all did reminded me of when I used to sit on my throne and have the same debate with my council. Though a lot more hectic since I had a lot more land to deal with.
I'm sure one day it might be like that again.
I hope. Well, if I ever find myself in the service of the Queen, that'd be a shock. Though, he then kind of has like a thought in his mind. And then he looks at. Also, quick question: did Dion say out loud that they could get? Oh no, that was just a thought. Never mind. Sorry.
What's up? I can clear it.
I remember Dion talking. I remember you talked out of character about how you'd be willing to give up Leowyn in exchange to help everyone else. I was just curious. You said that out loud, but then I realized that was an out of character conversation. So, never mind.
Yeah. Even with my low charisma, I am aware that would not go over well.
All right, thank you. But a few people, by the way, as it starts filling, you notice that a few people do stay behind. However. No, one of them kind of just says, "So this is what you get up to here, Tate?" You see this woman with reddish dragon scales, and with the typical wings and tail of a dragonfarer, kind of just sitting in one of the chairs nearby, sitting in one of the altar chairs nearby, and it's kind of like looking up at you with like her feet up, and then she waves.
Well, about time that you showed up.
Oh come on! It was only a day.
Yeah, sure. Okay, Faye.
She then stands up and then says, "Nice to meet you all. I assume you're all Tate's friends."
You could say that.
I assume. Oh, sorry.
Name's Faye Severin. Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Matt. Is it a girl or a guy?
I posted a picture of her in image chat. You tell me.
Wait. There's a person in image? Oh, that doesn't help!
Oh my god, that's a girl, man. Jesus Christ.
It's a lady. Okay.
How dare you?
Wait, I thought you said she was dragon.
Yeah, Dragonfarer.
Dragonfarer, so she's probably got like wings and scales.
That looks like a
shit.
normal person to me.
Oh my goodness. Not everyone's gonna have an exact picture.
She's gonna have brick scales, boys.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway.
I'll be right back.
Bad. Brick scales or no?
Brick scales are strong. Anyways,
we don't support speciesism in this party.
Give it a bit. Anyway, what we doing now?
Thank you, Madam Severin. We are all associates of each other. I imagine you are a friend of Tate's as well.
He kind of looks at Tate with a bit of like just holding back a laugh for a second. And she looks at Tay and she says, "Do they not know your last name?"
I don't really say it to them often, but you can tell them on this one.
I'm his older sister.
I don't need an insight. I was about to say, I didn't need an insight roll to check to see if she was his sister.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I imagine it's Severin as well.
Yeah, Faye is Tate's older sister.
Huh. Well, it's good to know.
Yeah, Tate sent a message to me saying that he needed some help, and I was surprised that he sent me a message, but I'm here for him.
Are you here to help the town?
But we're dealing with, what was it, goblinoids?
Yes. And Dunamancer, whatever that is.
Yeah, magic, whatever. If they got some elementals on their side, I hear that the goblins like to summon elementals too, and I'm handy with those, so yeah, I'm here to help.
Anyone who's here to help is a friend of mine. Anyone else?
Nerul kind of like looks at her, and then he kind of looks at her for a moment, and he kind of says, "You've got to be kidding me."
Yeah.
And then he says, "I know her. I've met her before."
That's not surprising.
Faye kind of looks at him and says, "Oh, you were the guy who tried to kick me out when I was rummaging through the shadows. How you doing, buddy?" Not well with you around, but I assume that's going to be quite common now. Good to see you too. So, what can I do to help you guys? So enough. I'm Horizon Walker, so you need any help finding any stray portals or stray places that can teleport you to places? I'm your girl. I can track.
That's the Dragonborn lady?
Dragon Pharaoh, but
or
yes.
Dragon thing? Okay. Cool.
I inquire with the Dragon Lady about portals to realms with unlimited amounts of food and other sustenance necessities.
That's what you're looking for. You're looking for the Feywild in that case, and that'd be stealing from the Fey.
Sounds like a bad idea to me.
But only if you get caught.
I have massive disadvantage on stealth, but I appreciate the thought.
She kind of like walks forward a bit more, and then Tate, good question. When you were younger, was it common for Faye to give you noogies and the like?
Yes, but they're cool, so they'll do that or hug each other.
They'll do that or hug each other?
Yeah.
Faye's walking towards you guys, and she kind of like sits behind one of the pillars, and she doesn't come out the other side, and suddenly she's behind Tate and is like, "Gotcha!" And she kind of like wraps her arm around your neck and kind of like runs her like fist through your hair a little bit, like saying like, "Oh, you've gotten taller."
Of course, I've always been taller than you.
She lets him go. And the rest of you guys are kind of shocked by the fact that she was just able to teleport behind you guys towards Tate and suddenly appeared there.
It only rocks in his ears.
Oof. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm willing to help though.
Thank you for coming out. I appreciate it.
No problem. Though you and me gotta talk later. I gotta figure out what you've been up to. Kind of like pokes you.
All right.
And then you hear, and then there's and then she kind of says, "Oh, so is there any place like I can crash for like a little bit?"
I think we got a spare room in the bakery.
Hey,
Dion
if you want to crash there,
can stay at his humble near the.
She kind of like looks between the two of you, and then she says, "Bakery, huh? Oh, is it like sweets?"
Oh, there you go. Sorry, Dion.
That's alright.
Gotta watch out for this.
And then you hear the tapping of a cane, and then you hear Leah, and then Leah kind of like walks back, and she says, "That was most splendid, by the way. I'd like to add."
Can you repeat that?
She said that was most splendid, by the way. You play the game quite well.
Which game?
The game. Which, if anyone,
the game.
If anyone wants to, Kaladin, due to your background, you know what this is, and Tate, due to your background, you know what this is too. Actually,
Would I know what it is because Kaladin would have mentioned it to me?
this is part of Kaladin's spy activity, so I don't know. Kaladin, would you talk about her being a spy? You being a spy, anyway.
Well, I usually keep my business, like my spy business, to myself.
Oh.
All right. Tate and Kaladin. The game refers to mainly politics, but basically it's like any interfaction play is usually referred to as the game. Basically, it's having.
I was about to say, would I be able to know since I have noble background?
Yes, you would too. Basically, it's the balancing between the different factions and trying to get some people on your side and deal with like the ramifications of siding with this person over this person. The whole messy politics thing. The thing that Tate left and that Searson left and that Kaladin's been like watching from the sidelines.
Woo! Politics! Yay! My favorite.
Yeah, I just roll my eyes at that.
Dion will win the game.
Dion,
but you already lost. Sorry.
Leah,
For the good of the road.
Leah kind of like looks at Dion and then kind of like shakes her head and then she looks at you all. Well, we'll see how this goes, I suppose. I look forward to seeing how you all succeed at this. I'll do whatever I can to aid you all in that matter. It doesn't take an insight check to know that she's not lying.
Not that she cares, though.
Roll insight anyway. Damn, it's a 3.
Yeah, she's not lying. Well, she does look at Ellis. But then she does look at Ellis and then says, "But next time, take a care and don't try to get inside a mage's head, especially one that hunts mages. It might not lead to places that you will like," she says.
I kind of almost narrow my eyes, half glaring, half kind of embarrassed as I glance around and then back at her.
Anyway.
Very well.
Anyway, Alwyn, I wish you the best of luck. Wish you all the best of luck in that matter.
Oh. Let's hope there's not too many times we have to tap each other's shoulders this time for this event.
Then simply walks back. Then she simply starts walking back out again. And then Nerul kind of says, I'm going to kill that bitch one of these days, I swear to God.
I chuckle a bit. Why is that?
She also, by the way, she does not listen to your things of the maiden at all. And then Nerul says, hate
she
her.
What?
Leia doesn't react to Dion's mentions of the maiden or anything, as she doesn't care. And Nerul says, I have many reasons to hate her at this point. But she won't do anything to touch her, Nerul. And then Nerul kind of looks back at Leowyn and says, "Are you kidding me? No, we do not touch her." Despite all of this, I know what she's doing. Despite that cold exterior she reserves for me and anyone who allies with me, she still cares for people. As it stands, the only thing that stands in her way is me, from what it seems. Also, those crystals that I mentioned, there's a caveat about them that no one else can know.
There's always a caveat.
Nerul, if you would. And then Nerul kind of just claps, and all of you are grabbed by the shadows and pulled in, and suddenly you're in Yggdrasil.
I'm in the tree. Alright. It's still fucking real. Holy shit.
Affected by the shadows at all?
Thanks to Nerul being there, no.
I was about to say, girl, if you had to make me roll an insane because of that.
I just had to check. I'm sorry.
Funnily enough, Faye also follows along as she's figured out ways to like sneak with Nerul's
Sorry,
thing.
a bee flew at me. I'll mute myself.
And what is it? Leowyn kind of looks at you and says, "I need you all to swear that you will not tell anyone about what you're about to see."
Lips are sealed.
I'm good with secrets.
Fingers are crossed.
As am I.
Alden just gives a thumbs up as he looks around the space he just appeared in.
You're back in the tree.
Damn, Jesus.
Kind of like leads you all downstairs slowly. Leads you all towards the basement that you didn't even know existed. And you guys are brought down this winding wooden staircase.
Well, isn't this fancy?
Let's get check one. And that's when you start hearing this singing in the background.
Singing?
Yes.
Bet you I can sing better than that. Can I, Ragus? Oh no, your singing is horrible.
Does it sound like male or female or?
Well, if you listen to Fredboat, you can figure that out.
Huh?
No, I'm joking. It's a female voice.
Ooh.
I'm gonna cry now. Goodbye.
Get out of here.
JK, don't leave. You guys are brought down into the depths of the tree, and that's when and he says, "These crystals are. There's a reason why these. Well, as he's bringing you down to the depths, he says, "There's a reason why these crystals are so special." He says he pulls out the necklace he's wearing. That is a crystal that he showed you before, Searson.
And you said the other lady followed us, right? Can I roll? Huh?
Faye, Tate's sister.
Oh, the cool one.
Yeah.
Sister
cool.
Potato.
These crystals are special in nature. I studied them before I took a turn towards politics, and they were most fascinating, I suppose.
Yes, very fascinating. What is the caveat to them?
Yes, they are. It is similar. The caveat to them is that, and then as he brings you down, you realize that these crystals are growing out of the roots of Yggdrasil. And you see that there are, and then suddenly you see that there are silhouettes of people within them. And then he simply says, back before I was part of the Mages Guild, there was a theory that the gods weren't the first people to inhabit Acria. We thought that there were people before them. He looks back at you all. I dubbed them the Eternals, and I always wondered what happened to them, where they went. 2 of them just wander the land now. You know them as the Dark Brother and the Light Brother, but the rest. And then he motions towards the crystals that have silhouettes of people in them. The rest of them are
These are the Eternals.
a race of beyond godlike beings stuck inside some type of stasis of some type. And I don't know how to wake them up. I've tried everything. All I know is that these crystals
Someone put them in there?
Yes. Suppose from what records I was able to gather, it looks like there was a war between the Light Brother and what appears to be the Dark Brother, but I can't find any evidence of that. All I know is that these crystals are formed by the Eternals in their stasis. And these crystals, they're the reason why we have magic in the first place. They're stuck across all of Acria, and it's raw magic in its purest form. He holds out his crystal. And for some reason, it's tied to. And for some reason, some of them are tied to this tree.
The
reason
connection
why,
to druid magic?
But then he looks at you all and says, and the caveat here is that no one can learn about this.
So basically, these crystals are the Eternals, and they're magic in its purest form.
Yes.
Okay.
If they ever find out that these crystals are in Yggdrasil, I hate to think what society as a whole would do with them.
What are these crystals capable of doing?
And then he kind of like looks at it for a moment. And he says, I cut off there. Anyway, he kind of looks at you all and he says, I wasn't entirely truthful when I talked about my plan for the world. I wasn't planning on using mages to help me warp the world. Even Moshe, I was planning on using, and then he points to 2 large crystals, one completely white, one completely black.
I wonder.
The Eternals were meant to help me shape the world. That's why the mages turned. That's why Leah and her mother turned against me.
You're not going to use these crystals by any chance?
I can't. And then Thrin pouts in, though there is a theory that they could potentially give him back his magic, but I refuse to seek it out. Valerian looks at Thrin.
I look at Thrin.
Then kind of like quiet, and he says, yes, he refuses to seek it out.
So these crystals are capable of potentially reversing the effects of a wish.
No, of this. He motions to his tattoo. A wish spell. Only another wish spell can counter it. And then he looks immediately at Dion and says, no, never again will those crystals be used for this. I refuse to let anyone use them for that purpose. The realm will save itself, but these crystals will never see the light of day.
And what are these crystals capable of doing? Like you said that you would try and get their help, but what are they specifically capable of doing?
You say they will tear off one of the crystals, and then he proceeds to take a chunk out of it with his teeth, and then you see every shadow in the room just come to life and shape into people and the like.
That's scary. Oh boy.
It has the ability to enhance people's current magical potential, transforming them into a powerful mage on the level of potentially nearing godlike level.
What'd I miss?
You guys are
I had to clean up stuff.
You guys are in the depths of Yggdrasil looking at crystals of the Eternals.
We also met Tate's sister, but that's not important.
Oh yeah, we also met Tate's sister too, which you missed. Oh my goodness.
I went to get popcorn and clean up my dog's puke, and this is what happens.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Thanks for that mental image.
And then Leowyn, Dion, Leowyn just seems to be shaking at the thought of someone else using these crystals again. As he's kind of like clenches his fists and he stares at you, says, "Never again." And all the crystals start to light up. Do you understand me?
I guess I would ask, why couldn't he use them to protect the people of the realm?
Because they took everything from me because I used these. I'm not going to risk that again. And then Rule, who seems to be sitting on one of the crystals now, also, a person with this much power can never be trusted. There's a reason why we made sure no one ever found these.
I'm sure there's someone altruistic enough to use them for the right reasons. We just have to find that person that we can trust.
What was that? Nerul kind of like rolls his eyes and looks at Searson.
Why do you trust us with the knowledge of this ludicrous power?
Because none of you have ambition of power. None of you have an ambition of power like I used to have. All of you are the only reason any of you act now is to protect your home. You serve others, not yourselves. Thus, I know that you'll never be desperate enough to use that. Because I'm sure that we'll be able to win without using those crystals in their fullest potential.
Then why did you propose it?
Because using fragments of them to nullify, to cause magic for magic to fail or to go awry is different than, and then he just puts his hand on one of them and you see his tattoos start to burn away before he takes his hand off and the tattoos come back on. All I'm asking,
so he just has to touch them for the tattoos to burn away.
No, it's only a slight effect. It's only temporary. I'd have to stick myself in one for it to work permanently. Anyway.
You brought us here and showed us this. So that we are aware of their full potential, but as a warning and as a formality. So you are fully honest with us?
Yes. This is a sign of a sign of trust that I have for you all. Because at the end of because I won't be around, because I might be around forever, but one day someone else might find these, and I want people to be ready just in case. And also,
why can't you just destroy them?
It's impossible.
If you have the power to protect people, why would you destroy something that could save?
It's crystals of the Eternals.
Nerul says
we must use the crystals to destroy the crystals.
Nerul kind of perks up and says, "You realize that they're called Eternals for a reason. They can't die. These guys are only in stasis, unfortunately."
Phenomenal. So we have the world's most powerful beings living in our basement.
No, actually, you got them walking around on land.
Even greater.
The Light Brother and the Dark Brother were more powerful than these two, than these guys.
Phenomenal.
Would they ever try to find and use the Eternal crystals?
No, the Dark Brothers, they only seem interested in finding each other. The Light Brother and Dark Brother don't seem to care about the rest of their race that much.
Really?
Well, I'm at a loss for words, except that I really want to go now. I don't know why I have my plate with me. I need to throw this out. Excuse me.
So I go towards former Sorcerer King, and I show him my crystal, and ask, is this the same as those?
Kind of looks at it. He kind of looks at it. He kind of looks at it, holding it in his hand, and then he kind of like holds it up to the crystals, and you see it light up for a moment before going dim, and he says, "Something similar, but."
The shard I found on my bed, would it have been small enough to have carried on me without being noticeable?
Yes.
I pull mine out.
Both of them light up.
I found this, or I don't see anything about it, but I just say, what about this one? And I approach him.
He looks at both of them, he holds them out, and then he holds them out to the crystal, and you see it light up for a moment, and he says, "Thankfully, they're not crystals of the Eternals, but there's something similar. Someone tried to replicate this." And then Nerul kind of looked at them and says, "Oh, they're shadow crystals."
Nani?
They're basically, he hits one of the crystals of the Eternals, and you see the silhouette kind of shift for a moment before he keeps saying basically the shadow realm mimics our world, so they're mimicking these guys right here. Because
So what can these crystals do?
I have no idea.
Well, nothing some experimentation can't solve.
Very true. I kind of go over to Nerul and kind of pull him off to the side a bit. I found this on my bed last night. Did you have anything to do with it?
It wasn't me. If I had to guess, it might have been other me, but if your brother has one and you have one, the hell is he planning?
It came right after we spoke.
I don't like this. Something's up. But anyway, Leowyn kind of like just gets away from the crystals now, because he's just kind of like the closer he stays, the closer you see that he's about to panic before he just simply says, "I would like," and before he simply backs away from them. And he looks at Alwyn and he says, "I showed you this as a sign of trust. I don't plan on using these except to defeat Galen, and that's it. You have my vow on that."
Well, we shall hold you to that. Not that I doubt you will go against your word.
And may this be the only time. Hopefully, these crystals will be needed fully.
He nods, and then you see Nerul kind of like use the shadows to cut off the tips of every single one of these crystals and put them in a bag, and he hands them to you guys. That'll be about what we need to deal with Galen and his magic.
I thought he was going to say, that'd be 100 gold real quick. I'd be like, bruh.
Make sure you use it well.
That's one hell of a sales pitch.
And be careful with that, too, or else you might screw yourselves over with that. It affects everyone's magic, not just his.
Well, it's a good thing I don't have magic. I have wit, intuition, and a gun. Not JK. And a sword.
Does anyone else have anything to say or ask about these crystals? Or to the three of them in general?
I would like to ask, since they're the embodiment of celestial beings, could they be used in accordance with that celestial being's area of expertise in like a non-violent capacity? Like, let's say the god of harvest could enhance crop growth, or the god of life could enhance healing efforts and things such as that.
Only the Leowyn kind of just shakes his head from whatever he thinks. Maybe? Sorry, but from what I understand, no god has been able to use these crystals for some reason, or has tried to anyway.
I see. Well, I appreciate your input nonetheless, my friend. We appreciate your show of trust by allowing us to view these crystals of power so that we may use them to protect the people of this realm from the threat that faces them.
Only what's in this bag, and Nerul says as he kind of nudges the bag for a moment. Besides that, can we get out of here now? I'm kind of tired of hearing the singing.
Work it, Ragus.
You're right? Right? Told you.
Faye kind of crouches and says, "What is with the singing, though? Like, well, who is that?" Then Leowyn kind of says, "From what I understand, it's one of the first Eternals singing, a being known as Inu, or as some people call it, the Beginning."
Inu and Anu, I see.
Beginning and end, I like that.
Is she one of the ones in the crystals?
No, he then looks, he kind of like thinks about it. No, from what I studies, I found that she's, and he looks towards the light that's peering in from the outside, something else.
Huh.
Peculiar.
Noted. Very peculiar. Yes. Gabe. Yeah.
But with that, I'd like to ask that all of us depart here before it starts affecting us in adverse ways.
Adverse ways?
already just like started leaving.
Yeah, Searson's already gone at this point. I've noted that, and
Searson
I plan on switching to that real quick.
booted.
We best go decide what to do for the day, though.
Not gonna lie though, that fucking quesadilla I made was bomb, dude. It was a bomb.
But does anyone else have something that they'd like to do?
I wish Terrace was here. Yo, Kaladin, how about you?
Well, this black crystal could use some experimentation.
Uh-oh.
What?
This black crystal could use some experimentation.
The ones from the Shadow Realm that me and Cal have.
Oh, you fucking nerds. Ha ha, you shadow kids and your little shadow crystals.
Ha 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 ha.
I'll be back.
Alright.
Did you have any idea?
Who, me?
Or have any idea what to do?
Who, me?
No, not you.
You're right. I don't know. I already know what I'm doing, fucker. Unfortunately, like, 1% of it involves Ragus, so...
You got something you want to say there, Perry?
Just as people are starting to file out, eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Alduin's just going to be standing with his arms crossed and his eyes closed, just listening to everything.
You hear Leowyn say to you, "It's a beautiful song, isn't it?"
It is. He doesn't open his eyes.
Wait. I fucking got it, boys.
Time, space, and creation, all formed by all of it sung in one song. But also, it's beautiful, but it's also horrifying.
Indeed.
I only know a couple of voices that could rival this.
As do I.
Is this area off limits? Again?
I'd like that. I don't want to come back down here. We got what we needed, and I never want to see this place again.
He'll open his eyes and turn and like clap the Sorcerer King on the back. Then let's get out of here.
He nods, and the two of you are the last ones to exit the basement before he shuts the door and Nerul and Thren put a magical seal back onto it. And with that, I'm going to switch over to another scene that's going on at this exact moment.
I don't know, get some fucking Leah music going on here.
Actually, I was thinking more
big spook.
So you're heading off to go find
Leah.
Leah's currently at the docks, kind of just sitting there, like letting the wind blow onto her face.
Lovely evening, isn't it? Is it an evening?
Nope, it's nearing noon.
Ah, lovely afternoon.
Yes, it is.
I see you've been giving very suspicious eye glances at us lately.
You're working with someone that I hate with every fiber of my being. Why wouldn't I?
You're not alone in that sentiment.
I doubt anyone hates him as much as I do.
I hate Star Kitchen more than you hate any one particular person.
What?
Oh my god. Anyway.
Dion, brother. Do you mind telling me some things?
What would you like to know?
What are your plans for in return, I'll give you mine.
The old.
I plan on sticking him back into that cottage that he was found in and making sure he doesn't get out again. That man killed my mother when he decided to try and save the world. Thankfully, thanks to a clone spell, she didn't die. She still cares for him, but I don't. I see past that care for the world, and I see him for what he truly is: a kinslayer, a monster. Something, and I intend to make sure that his punishment is justly deserved. He'll never be able to move on, to survive, to forget what he's done here. He'll be stagnant, just like the world that he wanted to make.
A very steep price to pay for such a thing.
That's a steep price to pay for a mage who would dare try to become a god. He wanted to erase himself to avoid his crimes too, the fool. But no, he doesn't get out that easy.
I believe anyone who abuses magic shouldn't get off as easily.
We are the same mind there.
But he's still a very valuable resource to me.
And what would you use him for?
I would love to keep him around as an advisor. Use his mind and tact to build a most glorious city here. I have reasons to believe that this man is very dangerous and has access to things and people that could potentially bring ruin to us common folk. I'm not a huge fan of that.
Ah, the crystals of the Eternals, she says with a bit of a smile on her face. He's shown you them, hasn't he?
I'm not here to accept nor deny that.
I knew he still had them. I just didn't know where. And judging by your reaction, I'd say that he did show them to you. And then he turns towards you. And judging by where you came from, they're in his tree, aren't they?
I'll give you the location of, if you agree to help me put him in the correct cage.
But a question, if Leowyn is no longer the proper cage, if he turns back into the man he once was, what's going to happen then?
Well, I suppose that's what you're in charge of.
Clever, but what about your friends? What if they fall in line behind him just like my friends did? Are you willing to stand by and let what happens to them happen?
Depends on how nonsensical they intend to be.
Your name. Who are you?
I suppose we'll find out in time. Do you not know already?
Yeah, I've heard you carry yourself well. Formally, you carry yourself well from what it seems. You seem to always be hampering on the guilds, making sure they don't do anything wrong. You don't like it when people overstep their bounds. A guild inspector, I'd bet. But you're not, I don't have much, judging by who you are. Searson, if I had to hazard a guess.
A very correct guess. Hopefully you didn't use magic on that.
Oh, please. Oh, please. The people who depend on magic are the ones who don't deserve it the most.
Indeed. I hope we can get that across to everyone here in Leowyn.
We'll see. We'll see, won't we? But you are utterly fascinating. From what I understand, he would only show that to you out of a source of trust, and here you are with me. Why?
I want to come to an agreement You, him, and I will work together through and through this host. We are all powerful people. We are capable of stepping a little bit more than just serving people. He thinks of me as not ambitious, not ready to rule. I feel like you and I would have other plans.
A bit of a smile comes into her face for a moment. She stands up straight. I think that we're going to work well together.
How do I know I can trust you?
If you want your assurance that Leowyn will be put in this cage, will be left in Leowyn when you have it. But if that's not the case, I could give you Leowyn's last name. I'm one of the few people who can still speak it after all. Well, actually,
and it won't come out as a silence,
No, it won't. Actually, everyone can speak it. It's just that no one realizes it's his last name. Leowyn's... How about that?
I guess you could DM me.
Information for information. How does that sound?
I want a little bit more than that. I want to make sure that you don't betray me should either one of us gain any sort of larger power.
Oh, please, I care little
over the other.
Oh, please, I care little for betrayal. I only deal in facts. I only deal up front. If I plan on stabbing somebody, I will stab them through their front, not their back.
Mundane and clean. I like it. But if I find any sort of hint that you are doing this, I will, with no hesitation, quickly turn to his side. We are here to work together. To rule together, per se. Does that sound good?
I can work with that deal, says she holds out her hand.
Jason holds out her hand to shake it.
She shakes your hand. Then we have a deal.
Indeed.
Now, first things first. The crystals. Where?
Oh boy. Should I lie or tell the truth? Should I lie? They're at home. You assumed correctly.
Where exactly?
They're sealed in the tree somewhere.
She's going to narrow her eyes for a moment, but then she'll accept that for now. I accept that. At least I know where they'll be.
Can't give you everything at once.
I understand.
Still gotta hold something for my own.
Understandable.
I hope we could become much greater friends in the future. Thank you so much. She gives her a hug, maybe? Hug.
She plays it off. She goes along with it. And then she says in your ear, his last name is Daenerys.
Fucking, okay.
And then she pulls away. She smiles. And she leaves. It's actually not what it is, Gabe, but okay.
Daenerys Stormbrain. We were all thinking it.
And with that, I'm going to end that session there.
Okay. Neat beans, bros.